Did go live. Okay, it is saying setting up your meeting for custom streaming service. That means it is actually going to go live. Fantastic. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Did go live. Yes. It is saying setting up your meeting for custom streaming service. Okay, I'm seeing the live on YouTube, guys. Can somebody check on LinkedIn for me? Yes, it is here. Okay, we are live. I'm just going to say we are live. Awesome. Okay. Deepika, can we show the team? Awesome. Thank you so much. So here we are. Hello, everyone. We are at IoTWoman, and I wanted to show you the fabulous team behind this event because everybody says thank you to me, and I'm one tiny person on the left here. So me and Roxy, we will be talking to you today. And thank you, Elam. Thank you, Mala. Thank you, Ananya. Thank you, Fatima. This has been the core team. And then we've had several leads, and we will be hearing from the leads for the various panels that happened. And this time we did live at various places. So you're going to hear all about it. Deepika, we can stop sharing. And you can see a couple line at the bottom if you guys saw. We are streaming this onto YouTube and to LinkedIn. So if you're here on Zoom, go off camera, or if you come on camera, you're going to get recorded, and this is going to stream, and I have no way of removing it. So you're essentially, agreeing to be on air if you speak up. The other option is you can obviously chat here. And for those of you who are joining the live stream, you can just talk to us directly, right, in the chat, and we will field the questions. That's fantastic. Awesome. Okay. So, Roxy, take it away. We are here, IoTDay, IoTWoman.
Good morning, good afternoon, and a good evening to you. This is the official live stream for the North America, and it is
Americas.
Hi,
Americas.
Americas. Yes, it's this time again. It is our 8th year, right?
Yes.
And we have experts from all over the world. You're gonna hear expertly led discussion on emerging trend, innovation, and real-world application of IoT and AI. Imagine we have IoT conversation like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
even 15 years ago when I started working with the manufacturing. And Sudha has been on this journey for many, many years. We will have diverse perspective from women across industry and regions. And you have the opportunity to connect with many professionals around the world. And there are many male allies as well. So I will let Sudha take it away with some more. My name is Roxy Stimpson. I'm Roxy. If anyone asks me what brand, anything, people know me as Roxy. So
Yes.
there you go, Sudha.
Thank you, Roxy. And there's only one Roxy, so we don't have any doubt about who we are talking to. So, welcome everyone. And IoT Day is a much bigger phenomena. It's always April 9th, and it comes at different days of the week, and we stick to that. And Roxy and I started this IoT Women. We kind of called it IoT Day Women, IoT Women, and we kind of stuck with this IoT Women. And we said, when we do a lot of conferences, when we go speak in different places, we are like, one woman out there or two women out there. So, we see so many brilliant women we know from our worlds who are not getting the opportunity because they're been inviting women, lesser women, and we just thought, oh, it's about a network. So what if we do something that we bring expert women from around the world across all time zones, and so we kind of expand our network. So the way we do this, the specialty of IoT Day is you're going to learn a lot about the cutting edge topics from amazing experts who are working in their worlds and changing the worlds. But it is also you know it's not just diverse perspective, it is also showcase and celebration of these women. And we our goal is we are going to create role models, right? As soon as you go live and you start speaking, there's somebody out there who says, oh, I did not realize I could be that person. I could be Roxy is kind of my goal. And when what how she lives her life very in a very rounded way, and in a very joyfully, right? So things like that. So I'm hoping that you're aware of that. And last night, so I'm joining here from Silicon Valley. I'm a technology futurist, so I love new technology and like chasing self-driving cars and building communities like this, so we could kind of inspire each other, because my aspiration is like there is no limit to anything any of us can do. And if we just realize that, then we can, we know how to get there if we just realize that, right? Many of the things are our own shackles from our brought ups and stuff. And that's true for women, because we do see a lot of other obstacles, extra obstacles fed our way. But then you see all the women today, and you will see what they're doing and how they're going past that and creating their own worlds. And so we started this my time yesterday evening, when it became 9 o'clock already in different parts of the world. So we started with the South Asia panel, and you'll get an update about it in a little bit, because Mala has been coordinating that. So Mala will give us an update for that panel, what happened. Brilliant sessions. I happened to stay and listen to it because it was still early evening for me. And then my midnight was the Europe panel, and another set of brilliant women, another set of brilliant conversations. All of it got live streamed. So if you go to Business School of AI, all the live streams are live, so you can continue and join the conversations. And then I believe 2 o'clock my time was Ghana time. So everything we did at 9 a.m. in the local time. That's how we kind of standardize that. That's how we are here, 9 a.m. My time here. And the Africa panel, they braved it with a very bad weather and still managed to come and do the session. So we're very thankful. And I believe Alice is here. And there are some women, especially Alice said this, I believe, last night, that when you go into your work and you feel like you are the only women in there, or especially if you're an engineer, and we have data scientists amongst us here, you find that you're a minority, and then you say, why is it? And then how do I change it? And so one of the comments that stuck with me from the panels that I heard last night was, personal leadership. We all need soft skills. And one of the things we do is we don't make this a women discussion and women talking about, how we are growing, because when you share and teach something, your story and how you go about it already is telling us more. And so we don't just do that. We just have one soft skills, one session called Unapologetically You, because that is our theme this year. Last year, I think we had soft spoken but not shy, things like that. We kind of try to come up with different themes that resonates with all of us. And so the Unapologetically You panel will be the first one right after we set the stage here, starting in another 10 minutes. And so Alice said that she was talking about soft skills, and one of the things is personal leadership. And she said we all need personal leadership to create role models, to create inspiration for others. And I just thought that was very uniquely women perspective, because I felt I needed to do that, because I came in as an engineer and I wanted to do various other things, and I didn't have role models, and many people helped me. And then I was like, I should share this. And everybody who knows me knows that I have a very compulsive need to share. So I don't believe in hoarding information. And I don't believe that even this live streams, everything is recorded and it is sitting in various places and everybody can access it. So I don't believe it is that the content, the creation of the content, the sharing of the content, how we come together to make sense of it actually creates more value, is my belief. And so it's very joyful for me to bring in all these women. So one other point I wanted to say is, so because we set out to expand network for women everywhere, each year we don't make it easy, because Roxy and I are connected and I have many students around the globe, but we just don't go find people from our network. Like typical conferences are done because somebody who's organizing says, who do we call? and then they go through their network, and then they invite people. So if you are in the network, you get invited, and then you keep growing from there. We just said we want to go, and we find that women have their networks, but they're smaller networks in their own circles, right? And so we basically said we are going to find 24 new women across 24 time zones, and 1 hour per session is what, one 9 o'clock everywhere is what we set out to do. So we've stuck to that. So we have 24 new women each year, and then we have some of the women who come back, and so we have about 33, I believe, is the number of women that you will hear within this whole thing today. What else do you need? Roxy, should we talk about the whole schedule? Do you want to say something else?
I think I want to emphasize how great you are in getting the engineers and introvert like myself. At the beginning, when I joined you, I met you at a conference, and we click, and then you said, "Let's do this," and we spent the first event, only two of us, and we're trying to do everything ourselves. We know we're not supposed to, but we do.
Yes. Yes.
And Sudha will not let me quit. I am an introvert. People don't believe me now, but she keep me out there, and we attract more women in our own way, have similar needs, and we just need allies to be out there together. And I do believe, and I agree with Sudha, we all have our own audience. There one thing about if you're in performance, there will be 3% people will not like you at all.
No way.
90%,
No way.
90%, 93% people will love to watch you and want you to be successful. But are you performing for the 93 or the 3%, right? Or even talking about 1%.
I
And
actually think we are performing only for ourselves.
no, you so this is how Sudha and I click in a way that we very transparent. We show people who we are, and the circle of people that want uh, to share the journey with us will be with us, and we help each other grow. They're limitless in how big our circle can get and how deep a conversation can be, because you will click with one of these 30 something women leader in this event, and the circle just get bigger and bigger. So I can't wait to hear and learn from everyone. Between Sudha and I need more sleep than she does. So I usually do some catch up, but I know we're gonna finish this in a big way. And let's Sudha introduce the next panel. Actually, we're talking about the schedule.
Yes.
So
Oh, yes. Schedule. Thank you so much. Um, so let me go find it. So um, my student community is called Business School of AI. So we are streaming from there. And my team jumped in to help me. We have this volunteer team. I mentioned a couple names. Ananya is been a point of contact coordinating for the Africa panel. Mala has been the point of contact for South Asia and Europe panel. And Mala has been my backup and knows how crazy crazy I am as we are trying to coordinate the overall schedule. I want to give a shout out to LM because everything looks so polished and nice because of the beautiful creative and consistent brands and of colors and stuff. And that credit goes to LM. And Fatima is not here, but Fatima was the lead for the South Asia panel as one of the speakers. And she had tech difficulty going back and in and out, but she managed to do it. And Fatima has revamped our whole website again on the same brand. So now having two creatives in the team is amazing. So okay, awesome. Yes. Okay. So for people, especially the speakers, we've given you a specific time. So if you're able to, join 15, 20 minutes earlier, that'll be great. And the way we've set it up is we're going to do this in two bands, right? The Zoom is going to keep rolling for 8 hours, but I will stop the stream in two halves. So there are people who are from Europe and South Asia and Africa who are all in the morning band, so that it is not too crazy time for you all. So that's how we've set it up, and then. the afternoon band. So the schedule is actually at Business School of AI. So I'm going to find it. If LM is here, I would like to see if we can get the schedule link. I believe we showed it in all the emails that came out. So I'm just trying to. Oh, I did find it, guys. So I wanted to show the schedule. That might be easier than just me talking to it. Okay. I'm just going to share the screen. We made slight last minute changes. So one of the things we said is we finalized the speakers and said this is it, and we have a weekly Wednesday global speaker series. So we use that as our check-in point each week to keep moving. So we announced all the speakers one week and the schedule next week, set up the live stream next week, and so it kind of helped us. So here we are. The first panel is going to be unapologetically you, so that you will see soon. And then we will have some check-in on the regional panels. And Paulina is here, so she would come in, tell us about the Euro panel. And then she did a fantastic talk and a very unique talk about AI law in space outside of, I think you were saying like the moon, right? When I was listening in last night.
Here. Yeah.
That's awesome. So we'll hear a little bit about that. And then I have been working on LLMs and inclusion in languages. So I kind of am biased and I said, why don't we have a language panel? And I found amazing, brilliant women from very many different worlds who are doing things literally from three different worlds coming together on this language AI panel. I am not going to talk or do anything. This is three women presenting their work on bringing language inclusion. We're going to see a live chatbot being made when using voice AI, and how the integration is done to multiple other systems. So that is the next one. And then I believe we have, is that the career one? No, we moved this. So in the schedule, we moved it a little bit to accommodate some schedules. So you will see a little bit on some policy talk. And then we have this career secrets panel. And supposedly lunchtime, but we are just going to check in with the audience around 12:30, 12:40. And then Manon has from Netherlands was at the Euro panel in the morning by midnight. Then she's went off to right now, I believe she's hosting an IoT meetup in Amsterdam for IoTDay, and so she's going to come back. So I'm going to show a little clip of her talk from the morning from her Europe panel, where she was talking about IoT in physical environment. So that we are going to hear that, and then she will join us to do the Q&A and take answers. The Canada panel, that's why I said this is not just North America, this is the Americas, because we have Guadalupe, who's here from Mexico. We have a Canada panel. Frinzi Clement is here with three other amazing data scientists from Canada who are going to talk about AI research. And then we have two experts on AI literacy, because at the end of the day, when people are coming and learning about AI, it's a constant moving topic. So how do you stay on top of that? And then we have an Edge AI panel. Arun Depika will be there. Sneha, you've seen Sneha talk multiple times. She'll be there. And then we have Semira Dolan, who's going to say, Edge, it's not all just at the edge. The edge goes to the cloud. So let me show you how. And then we're going to wrap up with another round table and discussion from the audience. And there might be slight movements here and there, like I said, but this is the general schedule. So that's what it is. And if Susanna is here, I would like to call her. And if she's not here, somebody go check to see if, what happened, why she's not here. I just see there's a message from Susanna. I'm going to see what's going on. Okay, Susanna did not get the Zoom link.
I will post it to her. I posted on the Slack.
Okay.
I'll figure out for her. Give me a second.
Yeah. So if we give her this, she might not have checked on the Slack, I'm guessing. So if we give her the Zoom link, that'll be good, because I would like her to get started. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Anybody here who has any questions on logistics? Anything else that I'm missing? Speak now. Silence is a good thing. Yeah. And if you have, keep updating me. I will go back and check the Slack, because I believe we have a Slack this time. We were able to communicate with everyone. I will not be checking my DMs everywhere. I will not be looking at her anything else. Okay, I'm just going to see whether I can go find Susanna and get her the Zoom link. Roxy, you said you were going to talk about, the sucks, how you increased your, age, uh,
Decrease, decrease.
your cardiovascular age. Do you want
That
to
thing
tell
you
us
can
about that?
buy. Sure, sure. So, when we pass our 50, well, I'm 53. I don't mind sharing my age at all because
I'm not
um
joining that game, sorry.
well, I think that one thing that I learned, people were saying you cannot buy time, right? So time is relative in a way that, to our life, how old are you, right? How much life left instead of how much you live. So anyway, Susanna is coming, so I can actually save this for later. But just within 3 months, I was able to get 2.5 years younger, just so you know. So that is the trick for later on in the session, right, Sudha? That's just
Yes,
a
that's.
quick
I'm
introduction.
going to hold you to find me that secret, because you kind of created a whole lifestyle. And I think it goes back to that same personal leadership, right? Because you have mentored people all your life. You have been very deliberate about your time management. And, so saying that, okay, and it's not just about aging, and, you don't have to wait till you're 50 and then do exercise to kind of, feel any younger. How do you manage your life and your career and all your other choices that you make is also crucial for what we deliver to ourselves, right? Okay.
Yeah, and that's why the theme is unapologetically you, right? Because my whole life I'm very extreme. I need to be
That's
happy.
why we are connected, because we are like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So if the player is not happy, you can make it a happy play for your team, right? So
yeah.
the environment is one thing, but how you make of it make a difference in how you live. Susanna, I love seeing you here. Love your smile, and I can't wait to see you um, moderate this panel. So welcome.
Okay,
Thank
so I'm
you.
going to add a pin and bring Susanna here. And Susanna, here we are getting started with your panel on unapologetically you. I believe your fellow panelists should be here, and you can get started. Take it away. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's so wonderful to meet here, and it's also I love the theme of this year's IoT Day, unapologetically you. That resonates so well with me and with how I have chosen to live my life. And I believe that is the same of my co-panelists. Daniel Radan, I hope I'm not messing up your name.
And one rule we have today is we never apologize for somebody's name. We don't like not call their name, because we are coming from around the world, right? So you mess up the name, Daniel will tell you what is the right way, because she's going to be unapologetically herself and tell you this is how you say my name. I'm not going to be silent. So let's make sure we learn to pronounce everybody's name, call them out. Especially, it pisses me off many times where if people are trying to be too nice and they don't want to pronounce my name wrong and not call me, making me invisible, and I never stay invisible. So I make sure that they know my name with the right spelling. So back to you, Susanna. Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Radan and Ananya Sen. Ananya, are you here?
Yes. Hello, Susanna. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? So it's good to see both of you here. And let me make sure because I do have, I think Ananya gave me a very strict, email on how she should be introduced because unapologetically you is the panel. So let me go find that and I will introduce her. And then I will introduce Daniel. Ananya Sen is going to be talking today about AI product development, how AI product development organizations are complex, how innovation needs more than expertise and collaboration. And her presentation will introduce some frameworks to empower each person to navigate corporate complexities and get buy in for their initiatives. Ananya is an engineer and product manager, and she enjoys system thinking and deeply cares about customer value while building revenue. She often dives into research to solve problems and has an always learning growth mindset. Welcome, Ananya.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
Make it for you.
Thank you, thank you. And Danielle didn't give me an introduction, but I just was reading her article on how curiosity helped her thrive in a male-dominated field, and I'm just blown away by her work and her, her story on how, using curiosity has always led her in a path of success and also resilience in a male-dominated field. And Danielle is, if I'm not mistaken, let me go back to her LinkedIn profile.
I can also introduce myself. I'm okay with that.
Okay, sure, go ahead then.
So I am actually the director of growth for a startup called Facile.ai, and we integrate building systems in the operational technology space.
Wonderful. She's being very humble, very short introduction, but yes.
I have a master's degree in biochemistry, and I bring a lot of a science thinking aspect to product development and also how to bring a product into the market with an understanding of psychology. I owned a publishing company, book publishing company, for almost 10 years, so I know a lot of the background of storytelling. I understand a lot of how to incorporate kind of that story into how to bring a product to market. Do
Hey,
you need
that's more
more?
like it. Yes, that's more like it. That's a better introduction. That is the one that we
Thanks.
are looking for on this panel.
Yep.
So I'm going to start with you, Danielle, and ask you more about that, that work that you have done, especially what you mentioned in that article and how curiosity has helped you thrive in a male-dominated field. And we are living in a world that has been designed for men by men and run by men. So I would love to hear about how curiosity has helped you do that.
So first, before I answer that question, I have a story just to share. Last week, I was with my boss, who is a male, and we were visiting some of our customers in Southern California. And we work in HVAC and a lot of the building system. So we're down in the mechanical room in the basement, and it's a big labyrinth, and it's all very confusing, a giant maze down there. And so my boss, his name is Keith, he says, if you want to get some work done, I'll just set you up in the lunch break area and then you can log on to the Wi-Fi, you can get some work done. So I said, all right. So Keith opens the door to the all-gender bathroom and he goes inside. And so I'm standing there with my backpack with my computer, like, well, that's weird. I guess I'll wait. And he pops back out about 10 seconds later and he says, come on. I was like, wait, I'm not following you into the bathroom. And he says, oh, no. The lunch break area is through the bathroom because this building was built before they thought that women were going to be down here. And so I followed my boss through the men's bathroom for the first time. I think that this is never going to happen again in my entire life. And I told him that I'm not leaving that lunch space until he comes back to make sure that there is no one in that bathroom because I'm not walking in on anyone. So as far as the male-dominated space goes, it's still very prevalent that we still are seeing things like an all-gender restroom in a space where we say that women are allowed, but there's no way. I mean, they had a lunch break area on the other side of this restroom. So it's all very it's very obvious that yes, women are accepted into building controls, but it's still a little bit awkward sometimes. So yeah, and I guess I forgot the question now.
The question was, how did you survive using curiosity in a male dominated? And that story really blew my mind, this walking through a men's restroom to
Well, it said all gender on the door. I
okay.
don't think there's any way. Um, I mean,
Yeah.
I think I survived. Curiosity is the cornerstone of science. And from the time I was little, I've always been encouraged to just ask why. If you don't understand something, if you want to be a scientist and you don't understand something, you always start with why. And I think that that's really helped me get uh, involve myself when men are kind of are leading a conversation because it's not forceful. It's not a way of trying to take control, but it's definitely a way to be in a conversation and make sure that everyone understands that you are there to learn. And it's amazing how asking questions then leads to other people asking more questions. And so by taking that initiative, I sort of started this ball rolling of others in my companies being willing and open to ask questions and being open to learning more. And really, that's been the key to all of my business success.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree with that because it's curiosity does help, but I believe a lot of regulations also help
Yeah,
level the playing field.
yeah.
But we are not going to get into that on this panel. But the story and your resilience towards this, how you have approached this problem is really amazing. And I believe so. That's what the chat is going off. And Danielle, you know how to leverage the power of why. Yeah, that is the power of why is so important in this today's age. And Ananya, do you have anything to chime in on this?
I guess I've had my own flavors of how the world is still designed historically for catering to a lot of male experiences. And as women are finding their voice more, with all our brain power, it's still the dynamics. So it was a very intriguing story. And I constantly try to leverage science to kind of build my own brand and also bring that balance because we all can benefit from it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to ask each one of you to share like one example because the title of this panel is about unapologetically you. Like one example where you literally stood up for yourself and decided not to back down. And how has that either helped you or hindered you, regardless of the outcome? So, how do you feel about that? And how, give me an example of doing that. And what have you learned from that experience?
I would like to hear from Susanna on her point of view. She's asking all the questions. Uh, because I invited you to lead this panel because I thought when I thought of this theme, you were the first person who came to mind. And I think, you might have many examples, but along the way, I would like to hear some of
Yeah,
your
definitely. I
stories.
will definitely share mine.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sudha. I think, throughout my whole life, I have been like this, but you pay a lot for that. And I have paid a lot for that. For that, brassiness, sassiness. My cousins call me very sassy. Um, there's like bossiness, people call it bossiness, brassiness, sassiness. But whatever, adjective that people would use for that, regardless of it, it's that authentic self that you're trying to bring out to yourself, bring out to the world, represent to the world. And to me, that one example that I can share is it has been in the workplace, sharing a very my discipline is in psychology, and Danielle, you know this, right? You also said that you have a psychology background, and I want to work in a very technology focused environment, and where it was very challenging for me to stay true to my social sciences and psychological methods background. But the data that was presented before me was backing up my claims. But I was the only one there without a PhD, without all the pedigree, without any of that. And also, my position was a very low level internship, but still in a group of scientists with multiple PhDs from Harvard, from MIT, and to stand up for myself and based on the data alone, there was a lot of pushback. And the pushback was not based on the claims or the data or the project in front of us, but it was on what qualification do you have to suggest this. So there was no such thing as, the data clearly suggests this. I know in the technology field, you will hear people say, back it up with evidence, back it up, evidence-based science and database science. But no, it doesn't matter. What matters is your pedigree, your gender, your qualifications, who is in the room, who has the most power, and who's saying it. But I didn't back down. I just stood my ground and I said, this is what it is. But if you guys do not wish to hear this, you are welcome to go ahead with whatever, you know, thing that you want to cook up your books with, and you are welcome to go ahead with it. It's not going to hurt me now because my career at that time was at the starting point. And I said, Starbucks is hiring next door, and I guess they will be paying much more than you for this internship. I am walking out. I will be fine as a barista, and I will be fine with whatever path my life takes. But you decide where this data is going to lead you, how many millions of dollars is going to be lost for you, and the impact of this technology that you're going to deploy, where it will take you. That's pretty much it. And I stood up for it. And when I came out of it, I felt like the next day that my badge would not work. And I thought that's what I thought. It's not going to work. And I click it. But it worked. I still stayed there. I think by being unapologetically you, people will, eventually come back and, see the value of that. But it could have gone the other way around too. My badge would not have worked. Maybe I would have been a barista at Starbucks now, but I would have been very happy either way. That's the thing, right? You have to be willing to pay the price for it, and sometimes that's not possible for everyone. And what I wanted to hear from you ladies is that what if it's not possible for you? But maybe you have a family to feed, maybe you have people who are reliant on you. It's not always, it's a privilege, I believe, also to be unapologetically ourselves. And I am very aware of that privilege because there was no one looking for that paycheck from me. Like, I was only dependent on my own paycheck, and I can say that and walk out, but not everyone can. So, in circumstances like that, how do you still be unapologetically you? And that is what my question was.
Anyana, did you want to go first, or I've got a story if you want to think more.
I'll let you go. Yeah. I love your story. Go.
I think for me, being unapologetically me is really the brand that I've built for myself on LinkedIn. Suzanne, I love your story. I do have 4 children, and it would be very difficult for me to risk my career and stand up for myself that way. Uh, and so I think I've definitely adopted a little bit more of a passive, rebellious nature to claim myself again. And I've posted on LinkedIn about myself. I've changed the narrative that LinkedIn is just about business, and I've made it about my personal goals and about who I am and what I want to do. I've shared stories that most people would be uncomfortable sharing, maybe. But I feel that that's my way of claiming my space in this world and in this industry. And I've I've posted controversial topics that I want to know why. I always want to learn, so I am always asking, why are we doing it this way? Why have we done this for 60 years and no one's questioned it? And it's really become my safe space is my LinkedIn brand.
Wonderful. I mean, a lot of people say LinkedIn should be used one way, but I think it can be used in multiple ways to build out your brand and build out your own voice. And it's also for me like a sounding board to see what resonates with others. And I think people are very afraid to play to it, and people treat it like a static resume, but I don't think it is a static resume. It's a more of a dynamic, uh, you know, uh, page for you to, live out your life, your professional life. Ananya, so do you have a story for us?
Um, Actually, I do have a presentation. Are we doing
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I would have the 10 minutes allocated to me.
Yes, okay, sure. Of course. We love to hear your
And
presentation.
yeah, and yeah, I'm assuming, Daniela, did you plan to present before me? Because that's how the schedule was.
That's okay. It's all you.
Okay, okay, great. Let me share my screen. I'm a little bit of a like to prepare person, but also love the power of spontaneity. Um,
Do you have share? Yes, you do.
okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Um, okay, so thank you, Susanna and Daniela, for this lovely panel, and thank you for introducing me. And as we have this amazing theme, unapologetically you, I have, through my course of life, found different levels of uh, power of our voice. I did grow up seeing brilliant women in both education and character, like my mom, face the um, impacts of the social dynamics just historically, and always was very intrigued by how science, social science, psychology, technology, innovation, all of this can give us the power of our voice. So the topic today that I wanted to talk about is power of your voice. And especially my target audience today is, since we have a lot of AI professionals in the group, both technical and non-technical, my topic is kind of geared to those new people who have the technical chops but are trying to figure out how to navigate through complex corporations, big organizations. But I do have a few frameworks that I shared across, that I researched, some learned at courses from Stanford Business School professors and all that. I would like to share. These frameworks will empower us and give us a way to plan how we navigate. So again, yeah, uh, I was more of a bio student before, but life took me into engineering, computer science, and I wanted to increase my impact. So I learned the chops of product management. And as we just saw a bit about the agenda, we need to know our power. There are some frameworks out there to navigate organizational power maps, and we are constantly working on our reputation, on our brand. So we do need some mechanisms to manage it, because life is definitely not a straight line. And My goal for all of us today, hopefully, is we can take away from this short presentation is anyone can be a change maker with the right approach. Sometimes it's more strategic and not just brute force. So that's what I hope to share with you today. Again, about me a little bit, because we are here as unapologetically us, and we have had amazing life journeys. My journey per se took me through a few places, and I would love to say a little bit about it. I did my computer science master's in San Jose State University, and learned some amazing dynamics, especially agile, as it was coming through in this startup called Snapfish. Then I had an interesting open source product development journey in Motorola, which eventually got acquired by Google because it was more of an HTML5 ad building tool. And I learned a lot at Intuit, a lot about migrating into cloud. That's where I got more interested in the the strategy part of things, both in technology and business. And also Intuit has had this great dynamics of quarterly hackathons. So a lot of learning on how to do innovation even as an engineer. And of course, after that, I started the journey of learning the product management skills. I met Sudha in the Stanford courses, and that led me to work in LexisNexis, the threat metrics product line, where I had quite a deep dive of how to build AI-driven solutions for fraud risk management. So that's a little bit of my journey through the places and the brands. Um, okay, so
Sorry, guys, we have only 2 more minutes left for this panel, so I just want to give a heads up.
oh, okay, okay. So okay, so that 2 minutes won't be enough. So let me just quickly go through it. Maybe I can steal a couple more minutes. So first, we need to know our power. And there are quite a few frameworks and books developed out there for that. And one book that I really loved reading was Acting with Power. And here, as we see, there are certain powers that we have, our personal powers, which is our expertise, as you said, our character to show resilience in situations. But there are also status like the title we get in a group. And those kind of socialized powers are also very important. There is perceived as a title. There is the projected power, where we show our personality with the power poses and all, and also our reputation that we build by consistently delivering uh, the expectations that we promise to our stakeholders. So, but this is something that really changed my mind about how I think about delivering impact. And I did have a proverb of how working in teams really take us far. And this is actually an African proverb. So we build our expertise to go fast alone, but when we need to go far, we need to find out ways to work together. And that's the framework that I learned recently. So say you have an AI initiative and you really want to take it through, get buy-in, get budget, get the team allocated to build it out, even experiment, prototype, and then build the MVP, go to market to the real customers. There will be supporters in the organization, and there will be resistors, opposers, maybe not intentional, maybe their priorities and goals are business goals are different. So we really need to find a way to navigate that. And as you see in this framework, when we map out our time frame, because sometimes getting a new initiative on the road can take multiple months, even a year. When we know how we need to align with the different people, key people, it helped. So there would be people of different levels of power, as you see in the y-axis, and there will be people who have different levels of support for your goal. So I have this case study from um, the Stanford course that I learned this from, and this is case study is by Tina Choi. She's a CEO and startup advisor. And at Apple, as a senior manager, she was able to launch this new initiative called Apple Entrepreneur Camp, which exists today, and it supports underrepresented technology founders and developers to lead their journey of entrepreneurship with the help of Apple resources. So she described how she had to start from this grassroots supporters, where she pitched her idea, she got some um, support from the key engineers and diversity managers that she worked with. And they connected her to more powerful supporters, people who were at a position of becoming an executive sponsor. So we need, in an organization, we need to find that sponsor who has the seat at the table and can give us the budget, the resources to build the idea. So in her story, Tina shared with us that initially she talked to the leaders in the diversity and inclusion org, and she, after multiple pitches, realized that it doesn't have the full business alignment. And eventually, through several iterations, she found that Worldwide Developer Marketing org had the perfect business alignment with her idea of building this technology camp to include underrepresented.
Can I interrupt here and ask you a question, Ananya? I know this, there's like a lot of frameworks and lot of books written on how, power structures, how to navigate power structures. But my question here is, since you have read this book and since you have spent a lot of time on this presentation, my biggest concern when it comes to working within power structures is that there is no power for you individually, because now you have to work within a system where the power dynamics have already been written, and you are considered as a player within that system. So are you like advocating, or is this person whom you have read and you have taken a class with, are they advocating that that our powers are derivative of our roles within that system, or is our powers derivative of our native inbuilt, it's more endogenic? Is that what you believe to be true?
Actually, it's a very good question, because I'll go back to the slide of.
Sorry, guys, I have to interrupt. You have to take your slide off and you have to answer directly and wrap up this panel, okay? I can find another time for you guys to come back unapologetically, because you're exercising your unapologetically you. But I want you to be considerate of the rest of the people who are staying up at late time zones to come in and do their sessions. So
Absolutely. Totally respect everybody's time here. But to answer in short, Susanna, yeah, there were like 3 different frameworks that I had in plan. But yes, it is a dual strategy, trade-offs. We as an individual have to build our own power, our own expertise, the competence, the character, so that we can show grit, we can show initiative. But at the same time, as that proverb said, when we want to go fast, we go alone. There will be some research, some experiments we need to do quickly to meet the time to market. But at the same time, if we want to go fast, we need to delegate. We don't always have access to all the resources, say, if it's money or people or skills. So we have to figure out, and it is always navigating not just expertise, it's also there would be different business goals, different egos, different things. So we have to strategically navigate so that we can negotiate what we need. End of the day, what matters is the impact, is the customer value that we deliver, the business revenue that we can bring from it. So yeah, it's really a duality. That's why yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not easy. And I know you know it because you run your own companies as well. Yeah.
So, given that, time, Sudha is, unapologetically, making us cut this panel very short, and I was not aware that there was going to be a presentation. I was not aware there will be like a presentation style for each one of you. And Daniel, I'm very, very sorry. I apologize for not letting you be unapologetically you and have your presentation as well.
I don't have one, so you don't have to apologize.
Okay, that's wonderful. And my conclusion, if you are asking me, Ananya, is that, yes, to go far, we need to work with a lot of teamwork and collaborations. We need to consider everyone's input. But to me, that's not a power structure argument, because that's a leadership argument. For me, it's a leadership style to actually include everyone and work with everyone and go far. But within organizations, I have seen we are all given a role and within which we have to function. So I tend to disagree with that author's, conclusions because, she's still, asking us to actually work within that power structure within a company. And we all have to do that, but that is not an actual, um, powerful, embodiment of ourselves. But that's something we have to do to pay the bills.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much. And we've already gone 10 minutes, 9 minutes past our planned time. And I'm literally giving 5 minutes to the Africa panel and the South Asia panel leads to update us. And we've taken like 9 minutes out. So I have not been unapologetic, and I'm going to be just be respectful. So I want to make a point. I just realized by being kind, sometimes we are unkind to ourselves. Like I feel that we as women do more of that by saying, I just won't want to be the bad cop. I don't want to be rude. And, we end up doing that to ourselves usually. And so, this is an amazing panel, and I hope we will be able to, continue this conversation. And the beauty of running all women a speaker lineup event is I am getting DMs from other speakers saying, I'm ready to give some of my time. I want this panel to go on. So, and I don't have the luxury of giving that because I just have to respect the time zone for everyone. And there are people who are staying up late and they have their other commitments and stuff. So thank you so much for this panel, and hope everyone will connect and take the nuggets from here. And, we will continue on. And Ananya, I'm sorry that you had a whole deck and presentation. I'll find another time for you. In the afternoon slot, I think we'll have more time. If I can bring you in, I'll try and do that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Happy to fill
Awesome.
it. I was
Okay.
excited.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
So let
Thank
me
you.
give a clap to the audience, to the speak panelists. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. So next on, we are going to get the update about the two regions that were talking and did presentations at their time. I don't know if Ananya, are you going to give an update of the Africa panel? I saw Rashida here, but I heard that they had very severe weather and they were coming in and out. So we want an update. Should we get Mala going so she can give an update about the South Asia panel? And then we can go to Ananya, back to Ananya for
Yeah.
after. These two are leads for the regional panels. Thank you so much because they have worked with the panelists, answered unlimited questions, and Ananya was sharing what she does. Her approach of doing this unapologetically is she just says, what about this? What about that? What about this? She has like unlimited questions and answers. She's one of those people who just doesn't ask questions. And she comes and she's like, I think we should do this. I think we should have a standard for this. Have you done this? Have you done that? And I just love you for that. And you make everyone so smart, everyone around you so smart. So thank you so much for all your effort in the panels, and thank you, Mala, for your effort with two of the panel that you were coordinating across time zones. So take it away. Tell us about the South Asia panel, and then we can give it to Ananya.
All right, it's my pleasure and my honor to share a quick update from South Asia panel, which actually took place last night our time, and then 9 a.m. local time. So our theme for this year, as you all know, is Unapologetically You, and was brought by three amazing women who were really not only experts. I learned a lot in AI and IoT, but also very passionate about ethical, inclusive innovation. So Yash started with speaking about importance of designing AI system with ethical responsibility. Her topic was embodied AI. I didn't know about embodied AI before, and I Googled it, and I learned a lot from that conversations as well. She's a senior researcher working at the forefront of embodied AI, Gen AI, and machine unlearning. That was also an interesting term. She also coined something like 3Ps, purpose, people, and some impact as well. And then next, Sri Lanka, developer from southern India, she brought a very grounded perspective on and posed a question on, is AI solving the problems or creating more? She shared a real example of AI hallucination with one of the Tamil poetry mistranslated, which is very well known, and kind of highlighting the need for accuracy and respect, cultural respect for some of those poetry concepts. Her video about this went really viral. She talked about 2.5 million viewers, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. That was amazing. And then we hear from Fatima, who was also lead for this panel. She spoke about transformative role on AI translations and kind of breaking down the language barriers. She talked about how AI can help create more inclusive and connected communication through AI translations. Finally, Divya, a legal professional, she brought in an interesting perspective. She really cares about gender equality, and she talked about how AI and IoT can kind of empower communities and deserved communities together. She stressed on, creating empathy, awareness, and strong ethical foundation. Overall, the panel reminded technology isn't just really about innovation, right? But it's including kind of the people, the purpose, and making an impact, an ethical impact as well. So again, I wanted to, from bottom of my heart, and then rest of the organizing team, I wanted to thank Yash, Sri Lanka, Fatima, and Divya, and everyone who joined the panel. It was truly, truly inspiring. This is my first time attending IoT, and I came away with so much inspiration and thought-provoking conversations and ideas. I would welcome you all to enjoy the rest of the IoT day today, and nice to see you all today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mala. That it was amazing. Like such a succinct presentation. And one of the things I noticed in that is Yashashwini started talking about embodied AI, and she did a very structured lesson on what is embodied AI, essentially AI on a device with the sensors and actuators and the algorithm. And then she kind of picked it from there to how to build that, how to make it responsible and energy conserving and all that stuff. And it looked like when I got in, they were like discrete topics, because I was trying to put people together based on time zones into a panel. But the way they built on each other's work, and then the next one, Sri Lanka was talking about hallucination from ChatGPT and then other similar AI. And then Fatima came in with the AI translation, and then it felt like now we were talking about language on a similar note. And Fatima tied that AI translation back to having it on devices. So it was very beautiful. And then Divya was watching quietly and then tied it all back in. It's very amazing how she tied everything to gender equality. I just can't even repeat what you were saying. So thank you so much. And that was a beautiful summary. I appreciate it. Okay, so next we can bring in Ananya, who was coordinating the Africa panel to tell us about that one. I missed it because it was too late for me, but I heard that there was like a downpour of rain and bad weather, and they kept coming in and out and still managed. So talk to us. I thought I saw Rashida here. She's the lead of that panel, but maybe she got disconnected. I hope she will be able to come back in a little bit. Take it away.
Uh, yeah, so the way I formatted it, it was 2 a.m. for me as well. Like you, I'm also in Silicon Valley Pacific time. So the way I structured it, and I have what 3 to 5 minutes. So I will just tell a little bit about the panelists, and you can hear it from Rashida from the how she introduced. I can share the YouTube actually.
Yeah.
So it was actually a great opportunity, Sudha, to work with these amazing ladies, 5 panelists from Africa, and uh, each of them are doing different initiatives in the AI land. And Rashida Musa, has um, she's a community activist and has her own company to build AI integration products. And her topic was from connected to intelligent um, and AI roles in IoT. And she had a live demo of a voice agent. And then we had Nalamle. She is a researcher and a machine learning engineer. And she talked about authentic intelligence versus artificial intelligence. And we had Ruth. She has she and Mariam, actually another person in the panelists, have built Africa Hack Nest to build this community of AI researchers and conduct hackathons to initiate more innovation. And her Ruth's topic was how AI can improve efficiency in female-led businesses and startups. Mariam, her co-founder, talked about careers in data. And our 5th panelist was Simbiat. Simbiat is a linguist, and she also works with the Masakane organization. And she talked about language endangerment, how Nigerian languages can be a scope of reference from machine learning perspective. And the live streams are, of course, recorded, and you can find them in the YouTube channels and also in the LinkedIn event. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you go to Business School of AI, you will find all the live streams, and we will be posting that back to to this audience, who anybody who's here on Zoom, and back on Business School of AI on LinkedIn. You should. I mean, in fact, I'm going to the African get to live. You can post. All the panelists have said, as people come in at different time zones, you can come and still comment and post questions, and then they will try and come in and answer them. And many of the speakers from the Africa panel have volunteered to come back because they started out early morning. And for Ruth, I think it was 7 a.m. her time. still, there were people who said, I will come back, and if you give me 15 minutes, I'm happy to come back and do my presentation so that I can, meet with a different set of audience and be part of the event. So you might be seeing some of them later today. And even Sri Lekha from the South Asia panel, she'll be joining us back at the Language AI panel. And I want to give a special shout out to Deepika Sarkar. Thank you so much, Ananya. That was a very good summary with a lot of detail. I just find like, each of us, when you say that unapologetically, we bring our own style. And I just love the detail that you always give when you share things. Thank you so much. I want to give a shout out to Deepika Sarkar because she was the one at 5 a.m. her time setting up the Zoom, opening up the Zooms, making everyone host, making sure it works. And then we had trouble connecting to Livestream through Restream, and she kept going. I mean, I had told her, I'm going to be at the Euro panel to open that. And I stayed on for the Euro panel. So I said, I will finish up and I will come. I wouldn't have gone into deep sleep, so you can call me, is what I told her. And she was very particular that I should not come on Zoom. I should not do it. And, she was like, I'm going to figure it out. And she did. And she got the live stream going. So because of that, we have all the live stream on LinkedIn at Business School of AI, where you can just go watch it or tag. I didn't want to miss that opportunity. You can go to YouTube, and there's a playlist for IoTWoman for every year for the past 8 years. So there is a playlist of IoTWoman 2025. And you can see all the sessions, including this one. All of them have been put in already. But I would recommend going to the LinkedIn, because then you can add a comment, tag other people, and still engage and continue the engagement. That's the advantage of doing that on LinkedIn. If you go look at it like 1 year from now and you say, where was it? What is it? Then you can go to the YouTube and then you'll find the list. So that's how I do that. Okay. That is awesome. Thank you so much for the regional updates. I think we should move on now. We are running a little late already. And I want to call on the language panelists. And the way we are doing it is, I'm calling it panel. I've just put together a theme. It's more like a theme, so that, we are listening on the same topic, and we can kind of build on each other's work. That's how I'm thinking about it. So let me see if Sri Lekha here. Denisa, I see Denisa is here. And Rashida has dropped out. Maybe she had the connectivity problem. So I'm going to call Denisa. Denisa Kera. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, I'm here. Wonderful to be here. I'll just share my presentation. I prepared something.
Yes.
And I'm so happy to hear that there were so many presentations about language, because I have to be honest, it's a new topic for me. I'm a philosopher who studied philosophy of language 20 years ago. So I'm getting back to it strangely through the LLMs and AI, where everyone says, oh, it's all tokens. We will find some superstructures and rules, and we don't need to care about the languages. So I'll try to show what happened that I found out it's not like that. And I'll start with this funny joke, which I generated a week ago or some time ago. And it is about two AI agents walking into a simulation. One passes the risk audit with flying colors because it brought the audit protocol, while the other asked if the audit made sense and was immediately shut down for non-compliance. So the funny part about this joke is that literally some few days after it actually happened, so we have this scandal with Llama cheating the benchmarks, and who knows what goes on with benchmarks. Everyone who did some work knows how easy it is to, convince the model to perform a little bit better. And so my issue here is that what type of a language culture assumption basically shaped this, what audit makes sense, or what biases we want to prevent, and so on. What are these deeper layers that play a role and we simply don't see them? And then the next question is, what kind of agents and models we actually need? So this is the title. I will claim we need agents without masters, basically, in languages without empires. So you'll see in a minute what I mean. But this is me. I do these funny AI simulations as agent-to-agent simulations, not like most people. where they use it for evidence-based policy and for these fancy things to tweak the behavior of people, which I find very manipulative and naive. I do AI, and I'm interested in technologies as a way of bringing public engagement. So more as a form of a civic theater for rehearsing some ideas about the future, learning about the technology and so on. So this is something 2 years ago we would make a model that communicates with the humans over slime. So we would make a slime workshop, connect it over fancy hardware with the model. And what did it do? I'll just quickly go through it. It would generate regulations. So the idea was everyone can generate some AI regulations. So it would make these funny regulations by using traditional proverbs, and based on the proverbs translated into something ridiculous like AI generated facts must wear a tiny digital hat labeled "Trust me," and go through 17 years. I was making fun of certain attempts to regulate, especially in the European Union, where I originally come from, and I'm very familiar with these efforts. So I'm interested in these performances with agents that are a bit disobedient, that are a bit funny or different, apologetically themselves in a way, and they show something. So I'm interested in how we can design, evaluate, disagree with other regulation, but I mainly work on the AI side, and how to bring more of these instruments, what we can describe as epistemic resistance, showing that things can be different. There are some hidden values, not just biases in this technology. So reveal which assumptions are universalized, which are negotiated, and which are erased in these regulations we make and in decisions we make. So this is maybe boring, but just to remind everyone, usually when you talk about agent-to-agent simulation, you mean this, like something that has rules, it's very precise, it has evidence as an output, and it can give you a model how things, you can tweak, control, predict. So it's all about prediction. So agents I'm developing right now are actually without rules. So they're purely based on the LLM model. I'm trying minimally to kind of tweak them and give them personalities and so on. I'm interested basically in some form of exorcism of the model, basically. So more as a dialogue space. So it's a dialogue simulation between agents, sometimes on different model, doesn't matter. So what is the simulation I'm talking about? That was this aha moment for me. It was 2 agents, 3 rounds of dialogue, 1 question debated in 2, and you will see that's important point, which language is. And I put like a higher temperature because I was interested in more interesting things. So curiously, it showed that what counts as risky, democratic, or ethical in AI, and I probably am able to show in other fields, was something that was based on the language. So what my goal wasn't to model outcomes. It was more to like observe when the agents quarrel in their languages, what transpires basically. So they had no personalities. And then I just took the logs and I did some funny things, even some creative things I'll I can show. So interesting part about my experiment is that I claim we have to use Basque language. And why? It's a minority language. It's a very old language. It's a pre-Indo-European language. It's so-called a language isolated with a very strong institutional culture and very strong culture. So they have their own documents. It's a language that is still used, and so on. But linguistically, it is this joke that more linguists speak Basque language than Basque people, because it's a complete oddity in some sense. It's a language that survived like all kinds of migratory routes. So it's an ergative, associative language which has a very different ideas of values, agency, where subjects are much more decentered, distributed. There is more focus on participation and institutions. And strangely, this did show in the simulations that I ran. So for me, it was a probe how these deep grammatical structures shape political reasoning, and how language encodes some form of imaginary of just a better world. So I see ergativity not just as a grammatical fact, it's a political constraint or design constraint, and it shifts how we imagine who acts, who decides, and who is responsible. So what was the question? should AI be open infrastructure or controlled by a few corporations? So it's this question, you know, how open it should be, how it maybe it should be a regulatory capture type of thing. You know, should we worry about AGI, or like what do we want to the future of AI to be? I will not go through I'll share the link to the presentation so I can share the logs, of course. They're very small. It's a complete prototype, but it's really surprising that the English agents stress system design and compliance. Basque agents invoke trust control, social body. And it goes, and it's interesting, like in many, like I actually run different types of analysis of it. So for example, how agency is attributed. In English, it's concentrated in the corporate actors, procedural safeguards in the Basque, stronger ties to community institution, and more responsibility. So when in the different rounds in Basque, legitimacy is anchored more directly in institutional trust, shared responsibility, rather than that procedural guarantee. This is maybe a nice graph. You see the Basque gets more community orientation, institutional trust. Risk is about the same, and normativity. The pragmatism seem a bit more stronger in the English one. So I'm trying kind of to sum up because we don't have much time. So in the English debate, it all revolves around systems, incentives, while the Basque seems to like is more about moral agency, power, about share responsibility, about this community level. And as you can see here in this heat map, institutions and safeguarding rights is something important, oversight. In the English, that is completely missing, while some procedural think about transparency and so on, corporation and risk management are dominant, which is exactly what is dominating also our regulation. So to kind of get quickly with this, what I like about it is that the English simulation centers around mechanism of oversight, procedures. Basque was more about relations. Democracy in the English seems to be about institutional safeguards, while in Basque it's participatory agency, cultural autonomy, which is kind of expressed with these symbols we know from the Western culture. We have these griffins and this beautiful it's a plant, I cannot remember the name of it. It's a beautiful, it's like a sunflower, but it's not a sunflower. It's a very healthy plant. So it's all about these cosmological protections through reflection and balance, wards off spirits, not by aggression, but by delaying and confusing them. A strategy of decentralized resistance. That's in the myth and legends about these flowers they put on the door and everything. I'm not an expert in Basque culture. I feel a bit guilty of using them as an example. My point is more we need to run simulations, especially about important issues on many different isolate languages. We need to save these languages in some form because we're missing and we will lose a lot. Basically, this was the effect of this, like a really primitive small, where they just have a dialogue to agents into different languages. In the English agent, the one agent was emphasizing epistemic pluralism, public accountability, the other one institutional capacity, risk management. So technocratic responsibility. So the tone was procedural, abstract, and the outcome after 3 rounds was, yeah, we need some rationalist hybrid governance. So it was more like something I would describe as procedural pragmatism. In the Basque, there was much more about diverse viewpoints, the possibility for communities to develop their own rules, about autonomy, trust, liability. So the outcome was more about ethically balancing values and safety. So I describe it as institutional ethos. Maybe here is something interesting. The risk framing in English was more about misuse by bad actors in open system, while in Basque was about manipulation due to unequal access to open systems. This is, I would say, quite unique. Linguistically, there is, and philosophically, there is this issue of deixis, how how agencies performed in the language, but that's, maybe this is interesting. There was much more our communities in the Basque, our values, our rules, while it was much more about these systems' openness in the English. So here I would say this is the main point. English agents position themselves as observers or designers of governance. The Basque agents speak as participants in a shared systems of values and responsibility. So, oops, I'm trying to, hey, come on, turn off. So yeah, I kind of made some fancy graphs. What I'm doing now, this is the last slide, and I'll just say what I'm doing now. I'm trying to find some more publicly engaging way of showing the logs. So I'm basically making these funny experiments with image generation based on so I take the logs, they become metaphors, they become like a visual dialogue. So it looks a bit like this.
0541, Gemini 1.
This is the English agent. So the visuality of that shows you
a metaphorical scene representing faster development, increased innovation, democratizing AI 0548. Gemini 2, Malv rebuttal. Why controlled AI could be the better path.
And I'll just go to the end. It kind of gets into a very dark
emphasize
future.
Bias mitigation, promote democratization of AI.
So the two English agents basically end up really in some AGI scenario. I don't have the Basque agents. I'm hoping it's going to be something
infrastructure or controlled by a few corporate. A metaphorical scene representing your previous.
So this was like a visual dialogue based on that logs. And I guess this is my last point. I want to see more AI simulations used basically as a performance ritual theater, not like evidence. It's more about engagement, about understanding the technology and creating like these interesting loops. So I see them basically, that's why we need these different agents. I don't want them to like model behavior, more to express some framings and these limits we don't see. They reveal how governance is imagined and what kind of answers are possible in which language, basically. So this language and cultural context shapes how agency, responsibility, governance are conceptualized. And I don't think we are doing enough to make this visible and to make use of it. So yeah, I see them as some form of a ritual and performance where AI agents alter the status of objects and persons, of regulations and persons. They define new borders and define the relation within which beings of all kinds, more or less person-like or thing-like, continually and reciprocally bring one another into existence, which is this famous quote about rituals. That's me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I was so impressed when I saw this, when you posted on your LinkedIn about this. And I have a friend who is a AI ethics researcher, Ricardo Yates. And he talked to me about Basque language. And he knows about various like different languages and cultures and stuff. And, I remember like a dinner time conversation about Basque language, and it's an isolate, right? Compared to everything else in Spain. And he was telling me a little bit of the history and stuff. And so when I saw that you picked Basque as one of the two agents, I mean, simulation of two agents itself was interesting. And the agency angle for compliance is amazing, brilliant. And then I was like, why did you pick Basque? And so it was interesting to hear, your perspective of why you picked Basque. And when I saw this, I was just thinking, is it possible, to take this and now run simulation of any two language, right? When you Sri Lanka was the one who presented talking to about hallucination for her language, Tamil, and it made up a whole new non-existent literature, faking it as if it was real, right? So I was just thinking, if you take two unrelated languages like that, and there's like so much more we can do, but I was just thinking, well, if we present this to the world, so the reason I thought you should come, and I'm so grateful you did, is as different people are hearing it or watching your presentation, they're going to think about how to put this to work, how to kind of emulate this. It's like pure research, right? So now the beauty of research is when you see that and you say, there's a gap, now I can go in this other direction and I can build on this type of thing. So I am so excited, and I am going to follow up and see what we can do to bring this to a broader, bigger world and do more with this, right? And you did share, did you put this already in open source or not?
I will upload the GitHub because I'm adding this image part. So once I have the images, but I will do it immediately after, and I'll also upload the link. But thank you for the invitation, and it's amazing to hear about these projects. I hope to follow up in the recorded messages. And maybe next time we really get someone from the Basque country.
Yes. Can you stop sharing? I just wanted to talk to you for another minute, though I'm trying to be the time cop here. I think we can do this for. I should have given you an hour. I'm going to feel that about literally everybody who's presenting today. Yes, your share screen is still showing.
Stop.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
It's
Thank you
a
so
bit.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One of the works that I do with Language AI is with Susanna Raj, who moderated the previous panel, about upskilling researchers from Global South languages. And it's one of the projects called Global South in AI, where we do this once a year. And it's more like training and putting out call for papers, and, it's a proper, research work. And then the other thing, I'm working on a book on LLM for linguists. And the thinking is, you said that, right? They just said language, we're doing language, AI is doing language, and it's all tokens and it's random chunks things, right? With no concept. It's not even capable of learning pure semantics of every language. It's generalizing. That's what AI does, right? Very beautifully. And it makes sense for weather data or healthcare data, right? And to take language and take away the beauty of each language that has evolved over centuries, and to say here is NLP data, is such a disservice, right? So I just found that, and there's 7,100 something languages in the world, and 200 of them are sparsely represented in ChatGPTs of the world, right? So I'm very grateful for people like you who understand this from, not from let's go code this and build more tokens world, but bring it in from the world of philosophy and humanity. So I appreciate this. I am definitely going to follow up with you, and we are going to do something. If you want to publish this as research, maybe we can, play with this more and see where it makes sense to kind of take this. So thank you so much.
I'm really looking for collaborators. I'm super excited about it. And thanks all.
Thank you so much. And I did tag Ricardo in the live stream. So I'm hoping that, Ricardo Beza Yates would come in, see that, and I'm going to follow up, because he's the one who talked about Basque. And we'll see whether there is something we can do to take this forward. I appreciate this. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you, Denisa. So let me see who is going up next. So do we have Srilekha here, or do we have Rashida here? Okay, and do we have Paulina here? I thought, Paulina said she can come in only at 11, right? So we'll do the update with Paulina at 11. No problem. So we don't have Rashida, because Rashida was supposed to do her presentation. One of the things I hope to do is, when we don't have the speaker here and we've done a session with them, to maybe, show one of their presentations that we can show on from the recording. We did that last night. So we had Fatima from the South Asia panel lead talking about AI translation. And as she was working with us, she ran into, issues on connectivity on her end. And she said, this is going to happen again. And so she built up Mala as her backup to do the panel intro, but she also recorded her session. And so we were able to show her session, and then she could do the Q&A. So no problem. So we'll wait for Paulina to come by 11 and give us an update on the Europe panel. Mala, if we are able to find the recording of Srilekha or Rashida, I would like to pull that, but I'm going to do that in parallel. I'm not going to take up time while everybody is waiting here. So I think I would like to move forward. Alice also had a fixed time of 11:30. If Guadalupe Torres is live, I thought I saw her. Thank you for coming online. I appreciate it. Then maybe, we'll let you go ahead, so we can do that. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I want to share my screen. Is possible?
Yes, definitely. Yes. Let me give you access.
Please.
Yes. I'm trying to find you back here because I pinned you here. It's not making it easy to.
Guadalupe.
No, no, no. I
So,
know. No, I do know you. I'm trying to find you in the participant list to make you a
oh,
host.
sorry.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, now I think I can show, I
Yes.
can share.
Yes.
Do you see the main
Yes.
one?
AI has no gender.
Okay, yes. Okay, well,
Thank you so much.
we can start. Okay, let me start with well, first, hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you. As mentioned, well, I am Guadalupe Torres. I am Director for Advanced Technologies at the IPAM. So let me close here. Okay. I am excited to share with you a topic that I am passionate about. Today, I will try to talk about how artificial intelligence, although it has not actual gender, does reflect and can increase the biases present in our society. During the next few minutes, we will explore how to spot these biases and what we can do to build a fairer and more inclusive AI. All right, well, let me first mention that this presentation is based on my data in my doctoral research. Yeah, my research looked at whether companies' policies for gender equity actually help more women to reach leadership roles in the tech industry. What I have found matches what you see in this slide. My key findings show that current policies don't work without concrete actions that produce real results. Many barriers for women remain hidden at the workplace. We need a complete approach to create lasting change. These findings are important because similar patterns happen with AI. When we build AI systems without addressing hidden biases, those biases get built into the technology. Now, let's do a quick exercise. Yeah? Who comes to your mind when I ask for names that are influential or leadership in leading the AI? Who is the name that you think about it? Yeah? Most people might have thought about figures like Sam Altman of OpenAI, probably the CEO of Google, Elon Musk, or the CEO of Microsoft. Some other might think in these other people, that is Jeffrey and John, that are the recent Nobel Prizes winners, often called the fathers of artificial intelligence. Yeah. Now the challenge here: can you name an influential woman in AI that is recognized as worldwide like these men? Well, probably I should know that in this forum, you are very, very well known. You might know more women in AI than in other regions. But believe me, when I do this exercise in Latin America, there is often complete silence. Yeah. And this is not because women aren't making major contributions to AI. It's about visibility. This uneven picture of who leads in the AI affects both how we develop technology and who feels welcome to join the field. It shows how bias work even before we start talking about algorithms. But we have good news. Yeah, the good news is that since 2023, Time Magazine has been listing the most influential people in AI, and women definitely are there in that list, right? Contrary to popular perception, specifically here in Latin America, there are many women leaders in AI, and I'm sure you are here also. Looking at the Time magazine, well, this list includes two in the leaders category, 6 in the innovators, 7 in the thinkers, and 15 shapers, for a total of 30 women in that list. However, even with their impact, these women get less attention than men in the same field. And it's worth to noting that women make up 42 in the AI shapers, but they are still very rare in the top leaderships, only 13%, as you can see here. This shows women are more often working on the AI ethics and social issues rather than leading the technical and business side. Yeah. Well, while some women are doing amazing changes and leading in the AI, sadly, they are still the exception. That is not the rule. As you can see here, in this slide, the numbers from OECD recent report is telling us a very sad story. Only 22 of the AI professionals worldwide are women. And just 12 of them, of the AI researchers are women. 29 of the first authors in AI papers are women. But what is most worrying about this is the numbers haven't changed since the middle 2000s. And this isn't just about fairness, it's about how AI itself is shaped. When almost 80% of people creating AI come from similar backgrounds, we miss key viewpoints that could help fix that very base biases we're talking about today. Yeah. Continuing with this presentation that I prepared for you, well, let's get back to some basics. Intelligence has no gender, right? Science has no gender. Technology has no gender. So AI should not have gender either. But if that is true, how do we explain what we are seeing here? Why do girls ages between 5 to 8 start to thinking that being brilliant is more of a boy thing than a girl thing? This thinking seems to have real effects, right? There are some studies from university in London, and they found that since or after COVID, boys in England now score much higher than girls in math and science tests. Why is this happening? Yeah. And in science, why have so few women won Nobel Prizes throughout history? And in technology, why are less than 5% of CEOs at major technological companies and they are women? And finally, why does AI, which should be neutral, copy and increase these same biases? Well, let's look at some eye-opening numbers. In 123 years of Nobel Prizes, out of 975 total winners, only 65 have been women. That is only 6.6%. Yeah. And in science of this prize, even worse. Out of 660 science winners, only 26 women have received the prize, less than 4%. This makes us a key question. Are there really so few women in science, or are women scientists just not being recognized? How we answer this matter deeply? Because the same patterns show up later in AI that we create. Let's look at the Turing Award, often called the Nobel Prize in computing. The numbers here are even worse. Out of 77 winners since 1966, only 3 have been women. That is 3.9%. And here is something shocking. It took 40 years before the first woman, Frances Allen, won this award in 2006. I ask you, is there any real reason for such a huge gap? Or is it more likely that women's work in computing has been pushed into the shadows? This is another case where important work becomes invisible. And this pattern happens in the AI systems. What is not seen in the data simply doesn't exist in the AI. Well, and now let's look at the Fortune 500 data. The story here is not any better, unfortunately. Yeah. In the 2024 last year report, only 4.6% of technological companies have a woman as a CEO. But what is worse isn't just this low number. It's the trend showing in this graph in the red side. After reaching a height of 9.2%, we drop back to 4.6 in 2024. We are moving backward instead of forward. These downward trends confirms a key finding of my research. Current diversity policies and initiatives alone are not creating lasting change. Having nice words on paper is not enough. We need real actions and deep changes to break this pattern. And by the way, here are the 5 people that makes that 4.6 from Oracle, and AMD, and others here. Maybe you already know them. Yeah, but let's go back to our main question. Are there too few women in science and technology, or do we just not see their work? The answer comes from different aspects. I try to explain some of them here. One is the Matilda effect. That is when a woman scientist's work is not overlooked while her female co-worker get noticed. There is a very good here that I put here, explaining this in a very easy way. I recommend it to you. Also, we have some, here, okay. Also, we have something that is called the modesty rule, yeah? It's when society punishes women for taking about success, but rewards men for doing the same. This creates confidence gaps starting in primary school, when we are girls, that grow larger with the age. By university, UNESCO found that only 80% of women chose technology as a career. This same rule affects who gets recognition. And don't forget about the imposter syndrome, when you feel you don't deserve your success, which many women in tech face, and not only in industry tech, but in many other industries. This creates a hidden barriers we see in this graph. Yeah? It's not surprised that Matilda effect and modesty rule show up as the biggest blocks for women in science and technology. Believe me, they are real barriers, even we can see them easily. Okay. Well, what we are talking about aren't just opinions or perceptions. There are facts backed by solid research that I'm going to show you very quickly. The data clearly shows women promote ourselves less even when we perform just as well. We tend to apply for jobs only when we met all the requirements, 100 of the requirements of the job position, while men go ahead with just 60%. We face a non-win situation. If we show that drive needed to lead, if we don't show that, people judge us for not being or being very modest enough. These scientific articles you see here dig deeper in these patterns. I invite you to read it. They are very interesting. Now, a question. What do these virtual assistants have in common? Well, look at this strange contrast. While only 4.6% of technological companies have a CEO, more than 90% of virtual assistants have a female voice by default. This isn't random. Alexa, Siri, and others all come from design choices that keep all ideas alive. Women as helpers, not as leaders. There is a very interesting UNESCO study called I Will Blush If I Could. That report or article shows how these choices quietly support all gender roles, putting the female voice in certain positions. I invite you to read it again. It's very interesting, yeah? These design decisions do more than just pick up a voice. They shape what we expect from women in both technical and society, creating a loop where technical both mirrors in strengths the biases we already have. Well, now let's look very quickly some real examples of biases in current AI systems. The OECD found that AI has made wage gaps bigger in several countries. One famous case was Amazon's hiring system that automatically rejected women in that process. Of course, it was shooting out already, but this happened after a woman researcher found this problem. Another very simple example is music algorithms often rank female artists lower than men for not good reason. When the people creating technology all come from similar backgrounds, these biases find their way into the systems. I conducted a simple but very revealing experiment. I asked an AI to generate images of people in different jobs without specifying any gender. Here is what I requested. Give me an image of an administrative secretary. It generates a woman. Give me an image of a superhero, a man. Continue with the experiment. I asked, give me an image of an engineer, yeah, a man. Give me an image of a CEO, again, a man. Give me an image of a CTO, a man. But when I asked, give me an image of a housekeeping person, you know, the AI gave me an image of a woman in maid uniform. Yeah, this is very interesting. These images show how AI are picking up and repeats gender stereotypes about different jobs. This proves that these systems aren't neutral. They take the old biases and their training data and make them every stronger. Well, time runs. I need to skip some of them. There is some call to actions in the short term. Yeah, maybe introduce more gears. I have some actions in the medium term that probably you have known. There is a very good report about how to attract and retain women in AI. And only 2 slides left. Looking at for the future, we need lasting change, not just quick fixes. Yeah, we need to understand that the future of AI is not just code. It's about who creates, for what purpose, and for whom, right? And this is my last, to close my presentation. I invite all of you to take a moment and read this statement. These words sum up what we have discussed today and the change we need to create. I hope these thoughts stay with you as we work together to build an AI that truly represents everyone. Well, thank you very much. Any question? Can you hear me?
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions? You get to speak here or add a question here. It was mind-blowing. What you said was so amazing. It's one thing to intuitively know it, but that's the beauty of researchers, right? You kind of find the research and come and face the facts. I did not know that music algorithms actually ranked male singers higher than female singers. That's atrocious. And Claire here, Claire Longo actually had done a women's planning, like a 2 minutes video for International Women's Day about how to deal with imposter syndrome. And so I just put that here in the chat. I also have put it in the YouTube for those of you who are following there. So much of it resonates with everyone.
Yes.
And I go back to what Alice said about personal leadership, because you're aware of this. Yes, Denisa.
So it was amazing how you all gathered this, and fantastic work. Thank you for reminding us about the dire situation in which we are. But I'm curious, from all these interventions, where the injustice basically starts. For me, the most depressing one is that in the early age, that the girls are, streamlined into you don't do math and physics and these things, and it's I think there's like more I would want to see more research. But from your opinion, where should the intervention, where should we focus, where should we start? Should we start in that early age, or I don't know, do you have anything where something positive we can do?
Yeah, there is a very interesting research about the ages in years between 5 to 8 years. In that age happens that they decide, or they are taking some biases from the environment, and they decide that they are not good enough in mathematics and they are not good in something else. That is a research that you can find, is a rule of modesty that I mentioned there. And it's very interesting how we are quiet instead of being like a voice doing the voice, right? So the best age is the girls in early stages and early ages. That is what this research shows.
Claire has a question, so I'm going to bring her here onto the stage. Yes, you can speak up, Claire.
Hey, everyone. That was an amazing presentation. I love that you put together all the statistics. I had a feeling about what was going on in the industry, but I'd never seen like a story told with the numbers that way. So it really helped kind of put it in perspective for me. My question for you is really like on a positive note, what can our male counterparts do to help us? I've met like many amazing people, males that I work with that are very supportive. And I'd be curious what tips I could be giving to them to continue to just support women in STEM.
Yeah, I think we need role models. I live in Mexico, and in Latin America, we don't have role models. I mean, it's in United States, it's in other countries. So when we see that, we start thinking, oh, we are not be able to be in that positions ever, right? So from a standing point, I think having mentors that understand both mentoring, not only women, but also men, that can guide women to the success, to make sure that we speak up in many different meetings, in many different events, right? No matter the language, no matter the pronunciation, no matter what, yeah. But I think we need to be supportive as mentors, coaching, and things like that. Mm-hmm.
I actually wrote a blog post about actually calling out my male colleagues and saying, what can you do? Especially like for International Women's Day, we do this women's planning where, women's present 2-minute topic. That's where, Claire, you had said about how to deal with imposter syndrome. And I saw that, and that inspired me to think about, let's not just keep talking amongst ourselves. What can we tell our colleagues? What can we tell our well-meaning male colleagues who mean well? One of my personal observation is it's almost we live in two different worlds, right? The way we interact with the world and the way we are talked over and patronized and stuff is so different from the same person would not behave the same way with a male colleague, and I find that shocking. This was also like quoted in Know My Name book about how if you are in a setting with another male person with you, you are treated differently. You would not get the same patronizing experience. So it's almost like from a very analytics data perspective, it's very hard to separate out the noise and to recreate that and say, this is my experience, because it's almost like a Schrodinger wave. As soon as they come in into the scene, they distract the reality of what we experience. So it's very hard for us to defend that. But I wrote this blog post saying, just very practical things, right? And I have some colleagues of mine from the past, friends of mine, male colleagues, who actually help me each year with IoTWoman, and I say, go find people for me. And I don't have somebody from Latin America this time and help me find this person, that person. And not even specific people, right? People you respect in your field, people you work with through the year, who happen to be women, find them for me. And then I go through this exercise, and there are many women who self-limit themselves and who would not take up the opportunity. And there are women who who just can't juggle the balance of doing this at night compared to whatever other family commitments. They are kind of disproportionately overloaded. And so it's actually like a awakening for the men who are trying to help me, saying, I would never do this. I would jump at this opportunity, and I don't understand how they are not doing it, right? And so, and it is many factors at play. So I feel like even calling on my male colleagues wakes them up to the reality of our lives. And then I had this, I will share that article later, because it's a checklist of, at a meeting, if you see somebody talking over somebody, and happens to be women most of the time, speak up. Don't, if you're quiet and you think it doesn't concern you, you're complicit. You're one of them. right? And things like that in a nicer language. I've written a post that we could share. Looks like this is an awesome topic. We should have made a whole panel on this, and maybe we will do that some other time. We will see. I do have like a whole weekly WED speaker series, 1 hour, where we have speakers coming and talking about different topics. Maybe, Guadalupe, you can come in. I have Claire on that list after seeing her presentation to invite at a future date also. So, I'm going to follow up with many of you. Ananya has her hand up. Thank you so much for that, Claire. I'm just going to remove you from the pin here. Ananya had a question. Do you want to ask a question? And then I want to wrap up this panel so that we can be respectful of the time of other people who are coming in.
Yeah, just want to chime in into the message from Guadalupe, Denisa, and Claire. There is this concept called male allies, and I learned about this a lot at my time in Intuit. But essentially, it's that art and the science and how we can network and bring some of these male allies to the decision table, so that when we are presenting and there might be a tendency of some interruptions, we have already built these male allies, aligned with them before, so that we get that support. And often they can be mentors, they can be a sponsor. There's definitely some strategic planning required to find them. And at work, at least, people with common business goals, and also people who can have like a common interest, can happen. We could be doing a hackathon together or something like that. So male allies is something that I've tried to get better at, and it's great help. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you, Ananya, for that point. So this is fantastic. I always say that the best presentation is one that makes you ask more questions and want to do something, right? I was thinking about, telling people, what's your goal for each of your presentation. I do that to my students, right? Don't come and passively listen to my class like I'm a TV. I want you to think. I want you to do something with what you're learning in here. And I think I didn't want to kind of push anybody here, because you're all awesome in your own way, right? In your own worlds and what you're doing. You're so passionate. So I think that passion itself is contagious. So thank you so much, Guadalupe. And I've been wanting to work with Guadalupe since I got into IoT. Remember, we were doing you wanted to do a course, and, we were comparing syllabus on that. And I did the first course at Stanford so many years back. So I'm so glad that we got to hear from you. This is fantastic work. So we will
Your inputs,
we'll follow up.
your inputs at that moment were fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes. Okay. So with that, I want to actually see whether Paulina is here. If Paulina is not here, we could not get Sri Lekha come in because it's late time for her. So what I want to do is I want to show her presentation. Rashida and Sri Lekha did very good presentations in 2 different panels, but we were not able to see them because of the time difference. So I'm just going to share my screen back. And exactly, okay. This is Sri Lekha's presentation. And I'm going to show like maybe 5-7 minutes of that.
Yes, it is. I'm starting. Okay. First and foremost, I would like to thank Susanna Raj and Sudha Jamthe ma'am for giving me a voice and to present over here and to share space with all these amazing women. So my topic for today is AI solving problems or creating more when it comes to language? A little context about me. I'm a developer from Chennai, India. I come from Tamil community, one of the oldest speaking languages like Greek and Sanskrit. It's more of a living civilization than a community. I'm a mom, a writer, and a content creator by passion. A little context on the topic that I'm about to speak today. Recently, one of my ChatGPT hallucination video went viral, getting 2.8 million views and still counting, where I was using ChatGPT to generate a random Tirukural every day. To explain what Tirukural is, it's a piece of Tamil literature that was written by Thiruvalluvar between 2nd and 5th century BC. He made entire life wisdom available in 2 lines, and each chapter has 10 Kural. So he made short form content way before even it was a thing, just like TikTok and Reels. Yes, the image on the left slide was given in our textbooks, but his aura probably would be like the one on the right side. Initially, ChatGPT generated legitimate Kurals, until one day it made up a Kural like so. Inmain innada Tituiram, vanmain van pirar kanapadum. So this ChatGPT version of Kural says that those who suffer from poverty suffer in silence, but suffering endured by strong people, meaning the ones at the top or visible to the entire world. Sounds like a piece of literature, right? Probably we would resonate with this ideology too. I cross-checked this with the actual text. This was a hallucinated Kural. What Thiruvalluvar said was poverty is the biggest suffering a human can face in the world. He never made a comparison to the struggles faced by the poor and the rich. So what I did was paste this hallucinated Kural across AI platforms and had them guess what it is. And that was actually the funny part, because each AI had its own fillers with their own explanation, and it gave out a legitimate number, which I cross-checked with the book. So ChatGPT said this Kural was 1049. WhatsApp said it was 453 or 452. Instagram Meta AI said it was 983. DeepSeek said it was 99, and Gemini said it was 1042. But this is not the first time. 2 years back, a user has already posted an entire hallucinated Adhikaram on Reddit, where only the first Kural was correct, rest 9 are hallucinations. It's not like this piece of literature doesn't exist in digital form. It does. And clearly, if ChatGPT can generate a correct Tirukural, there shouldn't be any gaps available for an existing data. And it's not like there aren't any alternatives to local language AI. We do. There are many AI language-based tech companies in my local language, Tamil. What's the issue, then you may ask? Why didn't I look up a Tirukural there? A, I was not aware of any AI product specifically for Tamil language, since ChatGPT was the most popular one. And B, I searched all Tamil language AI and repeated the same experiment once again. I was able to get into some conclusions. So I've got only 2 options. If it converses like ChatGPT, it hallucinates like ChatGPT, because every other language AI out there is a derivative of ChatGPT. You can see me getting another number and the same meaning of hallucinated Kural, saying it's 25th Kural here. And another product saying it's 1069 Kural. The legitimate ones, I said, were just glorified chatbots. It would not acknowledge my query. It just says its own thing, and that's it. Plus, this is not the only piece of literature available in Tamil. There are n number of literature pieces. So creating n number of AI is not possible, and it's not good from an environmental perspective either. So pieces that we haven't heard about, let alone the undigitized ones that remain as palm leaf scriptures till today. AI made a major impact on every sector. This tool can be used effectively if there are accurate, unbiased data sets with no gaps. Frankly speaking, there aren't any such data out there. AI is playing a significant role in digitizing and preserving old manuscripts, digitizing palm leaf script literature. We have AI-powered OCR scanners converting physical Tamil text into digital formats, making them searchable and analyzable. We have so many government initiatives that's on the horizon, so as to implement AI for language and culture preservation. So we come into the territory of responsible AI. To be frank, I haven't come across the terminology until now. Most of the people from my community found it funny. Some of them even shared their own versions of hallucinations. Some AI enthusiasts blamed it on my prompt, and some brushed it off, dismissing it as hallucinations. It was scary, as some teachers and students even relied on ChatGPT for their studies and also to teach. Some were afraid that this might rewrite history, and if we remain ignorant and not learn the history ourselves. Responsible AI seems like a more generalized way of approaching ethics and governance in AI. I think responsible AI is more a concept that should be tailored to each sector. There are many challenges and limitations when we try to implement AI to language-based LLM models. We have historical data degradation due to physical damage in the scriptures. We have technical debt. We need to create more awareness on the hallucinations in AI. Not to mention, if there are biases existing within the historical data, the AI model will adhere to it and spread the same, creating polarizations within the communities. So what might be the solution? When it comes to responsible AI within language, we have gaps, since all civilization and community have varied form of data storage. So tailored to this, data level gaps need to be filled by diverse set of language scholars and literature people. AI is not a replacement to humans. It's meant to be an ally, trying to give us a new perspective rather than solely relying on it. In fact, at this stage, involving huge data sets needs huge amount of governance, moderation, validation checks in place to fill in the gaps, reduce hallucination in order to make the system more efficient. I would like to conclude by quoting a Thirukural, Nadorum Naduga Mannan, Vinay Saivan, Kodame Kodadu Ulagu. It's the duty of the leader to ensure that the work is done ethically and in a responsible manner so that the world will not deter into chaos.
Okay, that's amazing. I just wish we could have had Srilekha here, but I think it's kind of midnight or late for her. So I hope you'll tag her and on the live stream, and we'll be able to talk to her. Yeah, it's showing Guadalupe. I think for me, I don't know what you guys are seeing. That's awesome. And I'm so glad Susanna Raj is here because she was the one who introduced me to Srilekha. And she was thanking Susanna Raj last night. So I wanted her to hear Tamil being spoken on stage unapologetically. And I could see within the sessions we've done, we already heard so many languages already. So it's very refreshing for me. Okay. So since Srilekha is not here, I don't think we can ask any questions. So I just thought I will give her a clap, cheer for her, and then move on to our next speaker. Denisa is saying it's not just random hallucination. It is ChatGPT imposing values from who knows where on. That's amazing. Traditional poetry. That's a very, very good point. There has been published research by Himabindu Lekkaraju from Harvard that low resource languages that are the languages for which they could be ancient languages like Tamil or Basque, but they have less of the English translation that's available. And those languages hallucinate more because AI is just trying to fill in the gap and make things up. And so that's makes it even more scary. But I think there's more that needs to be done, especially after seeing the agent debate by Denisa. I think there might be more empirical way by which we can uncover these and see what we can do about it. So thank you so much. Alice, if you're here, I would like to call on you because I keep quoting you. I would rather hear from you directly. If you have if you're live here.
Yeah, I'm here. Just give me 10 seconds.
Okay.
To set up.
Yes. Yeah, I just made you co-host. So you should be able to share your slides. And Alice presented yesterday, her early morning, I believe, at 9 o'clock in Europe panel. So I'm going to bring Alice to the stage.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much.
So we start to present my slides. Hope you can all see them and put them.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So my name is IoTWoman. I'm an AI engineer, and today we'll talk about the role of women in research and innovation. So I work for a company called Martel Innovate. It's a small business based in Switzerland. And specifically, I'm working for this part of Martel called the Martel Lab, where I do research and innovation in European funded projects. Working in Martel Lab as an AI engineer for me means to participate and collaborate in different kind of projects named 6G NTN, Unity 6G, scalability, and so on. And here I basically develop and design AI solutions for many different fields, such as telecommunication mainly, but also cybersecurity, social sciences, and many more. And today I brought a presentation of one of these projects to let you see more what we do there. This project is called HORSE, and unfortunately we won't talk about animals, but HORSE is an acronym for this platform regarding security in 6G networks. This is the architecture of HORSE. As you can see, there are many components in it. I'm not here to explain all of them, of course. Just to let you know that I've been participating in the development of this component highlighted in red, called the Common Knowledge Base. And well, the idea of the overall architecture is to integrate artificial intelligence natively in each component of this 6G platform. And what have been done in the Common Knowledge Base is to use generative AI to enhance cybersecurity knowledge bases. So one of the interesting things of working in this European funded project is that I can see like the full life cycle of a project. So starting from the idea, we then go into a design and architectural design phase. Then we develop what we have thought, so we code, and in the end we evaluate everything, and we test, and we produce documentation. So this is the architectural / design phase of this component called the Common Knowledge Base. As I said before, the idea is to use generative AI to enhance cybersecurity database. So basically, I started from external heterogeneous sources such as KPEC, Mitre, Attack, which are cybersecurity frameworks. And I developed some Python modules that are able to search inside of these databases, attacks, eventual mitigations, and these modules are also able to process this data in order to produce an initial database of cyber attacks and mitigation. Then this data is used as input to another module that I've developed called the Mitigation Generator. And in this module, there are several large language models, or LLMs, that extract these attacks and mitigation and generate new mitigation starting from the initial ones. Once we have this data, this enhanced data generated by generative AI, I can ingest everything in an external database. And also there is an API service that exposes RESTful APIs to the rest of the HORSE components, so that these components can actually retrieve data from this enhanced database, but without directly accessing to it to enhance security and privacy. So this was the design phase of this project. This is the output, or even better, the evaluation phase of the generative AI component. I used an LLM as a judge approach, which means that I used like a more powerful LLM to judge the responses of other LLMs. So in the legend on the top left of this graph, you can see the list of all the models I used. There are many different ones. And in this graph, you can see how Claude 3.5 evaluated the responses of all the models in a rate from 1 to 5. And as you can see, Claude and DeepSeek were evaluated the best. So this was one of my experiences working in this kind of projects, European funded research projects. And I wanted to highlight the technical stuff that we are doing there. But I didn't want just to stop there, because to me, working as an AI engineer in this kind of projects is not just about developing or showing hard skills, but it's more like a combination of hard skills and soft skills. So my recommendation would be to develop and cultivate during your career path both hard skills and soft skills. For today, I draw this map of soft skills, and I put the soft skills that came out of my mind. There are many, as you can see, and of course, you can't really develop and cultivate all of them all together. But my suggestion will be to focus on those that are most important for you and your career goals, and really try to cultivate them. And I did this exercise for today. So I picked 3 of my favorite soft skills that I'm currently working on. The first one is communication. So communication to me is the ability to express complex concepts to a vast majority of audience, like both technical experts and non-technical people. And communication to me is very important because it means that you have the ability to express your ideas with your unique perspective, especially as a woman. And you have the ability to ensure that your work and your ideas are understood and valued. The second soft skill is resilience. So to me, resilience is the ability to overcome challenges, and in particular, career challenges. And I think that it's very important to build such a soft skill, to cultivate it, because especially as women, I think that we face very unique career challenges. For example, when I'm working in this kind of projects, or also during my studies, I sometimes feel like I'm not in the right place, or like I'm not good enough for this. And building resilience to me meant finding ways to always stay motivated and focus in order to reach and to achieve my goals. And the last one is leadership. So other women talked about this today. I know that. And so leadership, it's really just not about being a boss, but it means being in a position of visibility to inspire other people, especially being a woman inspiring other women to follow your path, be a mentor, be a good influence for younger generation in order to also advocate for diversity and inclusion. And I think it's very important, if you have such a potential, it's important to develop and cultivate this soft skill. As you also probably heard in the previous presentation, most of like the majority of tech companies like Google, Nvidia, Microsoft are led by men. I think it was like 90% of these companies, which is crazy. And I think that this should really change. And we have the potential and we have the ability to change this. So if you have such potential, please pursue this. So to wrap up, again, my suggestion is develop your technical skills alongside your soft skills. Start taking opportunities. Start as a woman. Start taking part in conversation. Expose yourself. Be a mentor. Find a mentor, and start being proud of your ambitions. And if you have your leadership potential, because we have the power to change the things, and we have the power to redefine this tech landscape. Thank you very much. So if you have a question, of course, I would be glad.
Can you stop the share?
Yes.
Okay, if somebody else has a question, I'll let them go. Yes, people love the presentation.
Thank you.
So I have one question. I asked it in the Europe panel, so I'm going to ask you again. I just love your definition of leadership as creating a role model. And we saw the data, we heard about, how, women have this self-doubt that is fed in right from when they're brought up, or society imposes before age 8 or 9, and then the stats that Guadalupe Torres shared about women actually raise their hand on for new opportunities only when they feel like they're 100% ready, while men do that if they're 60% ready, things like that. So when I saw your soft skills and leadership saying we need to be a role model, I just love it, because I personally believe, even in the way we are doing this event, is, just by living our truth, we set, we become role models for others, we inspire others. And you articulated that very beautifully, right? As leadership skills you should have as a data scientist, and one of the women in a very male-driven tech world. Where did you get that from? Is that something that you kind of evolved and figured out as experience, or where did that come from?
Well, I think yes, because as I said to you this morning, and it was yesterday for you, when I was studying, and also like during my for now very short career path, I sometimes feel like I'm lost. Like if I look at the people that are there, that are CIO of big tech companies, again, they are men. So this is kind of confusing to me, like, okay, what am I doing here? So, and also, I was thinking how we could change this, and building role models and showing that there are other women doing this, and that we can do this, and we deserve to be at the table. I think it's a good way to start changing things.
So it's personal leadership, truly like what you practice to make it happen. You basically said, I'm going to change something
Well,
around me.
I am very young, so I don't think I'm in such a position at the moment, but I hope that in the future I can be a role model for somebody, because I really believe in this. And I didn't have this in my experience, or not that many as I wish. So I really hope that I will be in that position someday.
That's
I
awesome.
think to that, I want to add a bit more.
Yes.
I'm a former VP of engineering. So Alice, for all that you share, you actually, if you on the team that I'm leading, it's like we say, leading without title. You are a leader, because you know what it's like to bring people voice to the front, and you know how to really promote and give people credit for what they have. As a leader, what you do is you want to make sure your team have a place to shine. So that your communications blog really show that you are in that space. Resilient is when you actually do something, it doesn't mean it's going to happen again and again, especially in innovation, right? Because if you want to grow a cedar tree, it takes 20 years, right? With AI, it's shorter, but still, it's not going to be the same as the annual plant, for example. So you know that resilience is part of the core of success for innovation. And the other part about leadership and inspire other women is like when you there and you are an AI engineer, other can see you and say, oh, I can be that, right? So those that just started, they can switch gear to change there. So as an engineering leader, I do believe you had all the quality needed as a leader. It just depends on the company. The structure is different. You know, you lead by knowledge, right? My sister is a technologist. She's not leading team, but she actually worked with team because of her knowledge. She is a VP of engineering at a brokerage company and have no as the only individual contributor in her company that is a VP of engineering. So you're right on point, and I appreciate so much that you're sharing this. One thing I would say, the word that strive for work-life balance is debatable in many ways. So one opportunity for us to really share with other women is like work-life balance for one person is not the same like others. I'm very passionate about something, so how you structure your life, it should bring you joy. Like Sudha, you can see it when she smile, when she bring so many of us here together. Really didn't know work-life balance for her. She worked 24/7 and all cycle, right? But that is not to Sudha is not a work-life balance challenge. It's you passionate about something. Work-life harmony probably is the thing, right? What you do it for, what your purpose make a lot of difference. So as the leader, I'm thinking of you as an engineering leader. Think about what you said because your word is so powerful, right? When you talking about work-life balance, what does that mean to you? And let other think about themselves, their own definition of every single word that you said. Does that make sense? But I love how crisp you are, and also your touch point of cybersecurity and innovation. That what my last job was. So kudos to you and all the best. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for your kind words, and of course for inviting me. It has been a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep. Roxy, you've seen this, right? And when you are a technologist, you're an engineer, and today this, data scientist in early career professionals, you get opportunities to either pull you out to be this project manager, product manager, to do something that's non-technical. I mean, there's all kinds of roles, but I have seen friends of mine who wanted to be architects at a certain level. After they're architects and they try to change a job, they'll be like, you should go back to not being an architect, go back to, some different role that is hierarchy wise within tech with less women in there. And so I think one of the advice I would give Alice is whatever you want to do, I think you should kind of decide what you want to do in your career, not because somebody is pushing you out of that role or pulling you into something else. I feel like that's important, that being unapologetically you, one of the thing is also, you deciding what makes sense for you. And Roxy, you said this, instead of balance, it's about harmony. And I think work-life harmony is a very beautiful word. That's beautiful. I figured out that, I have a lot of energy and I try to do a lot of different things. And recently I've gotten better at kind of putting them, run at multiple tracks and then periodically like art, bringing it together and to kind of weave into something. I figured that out over time. But one of my rules that I figured out for myself is if I'm trying to manage my time and I say, oh, I need work-life balance and I need to do this and go spend time with my kid and come back and then I log back in, I'm running at somebody else's time and control, and then I will burn out. Even if I love what I'm doing, I will burn out, right? Because I will get less sleep and stuff. So I find that I manage my energy. I don't manage my time. And
yeah,
so
I love that, Sudha. And as the engineering leader, your team will have multiple people at different state in their life, right? So the only way you know what stage they're in, whether or not they're going to give 110% at work or like, health, education, family, everyone have their own stage of mind at that specific time. So Sudha and I, like, when we first did it, right? We know it's just one day and we're gonna put all our effort into it because we love the energy and everything else. But then our life is a sprint, not the marathon. So it's sprint one. You're talking about agile and some other so you can't do, 110 all the time. Now I'm at the stage in my life when I love music, I love dance, I love nutrition, and I love to be with my family. And really, highest priority is taking care of my health, right? So this state is different harmony of life and joy than when I was just get out of school, right? I worked 60 hours, 80 hours when I just got out of school because I'm so curious about something. I forgot to eat, and I developed a habit of intermittent fasting not because I know about it. It's just that I'm on the computer all the time. So I keep working until my dad said, "Are you gonna eat something?" I say, maybe later after I solve this, right? So as a leader, knowing what stage everyone on your teams are really help, right? And know where you're at. Anyway, this is wonderful to hear from you, Alice, and it's something Sudha and I are really passionate about. So
Thank
we
you.
are the extreme side of the way of things.
Thank you so much. I found that if you do something that gives you energy, then it kind of feeds into the next thing and next thing. And then the thing that you're passionate about, obviously, doesn't feel like work, right? It doesn't feel like, but I still think you need to kind of figure out your time balance a little bit, but you set the rule, right? Instead of reacting and running. I think the more you try to manage that, that there's less time that you're doing reactive work and things you're doing because you want to do it, then I think it gets to a better place, I think, for us, that's my personal take on this. Okay, so Rashida could not join us, and she was at the Africa panel, also on language, and it's going to switch gears completely because she did a live demo of building a voice chatbot and then integrating, and her specialty is AI integration, integrating into multiple systems. I want to show a little clip of that because we could not get them to join us live because of the weather stuff. So if you don't mind, I'm going to play a little bit. So we will go with this for another 12 minutes, and then we will move to the next panel, which is at 12 o'clock according to our schedule. So we're catching up on our original plan on our schedule at 12 o'clock back again. Just a heads up for the panelists who are here in the room. Okay.
Amazing. But before you go, I had a question for you. Have you worked on any, ML models that have preserved Nigerian languages? And if so,
this is
which
Symbiont.
languages have you been working on?
Well, the person.
Oh, yes, of course I have. And like I said, I am a linguist. Yes, I might be conversant with other enjoying Yoruba language. So I've been working on Yoruba language. And due to this, I feel like, I could do more. So I'm currently looking to learning other languages. I'm actually looking to learn one Nigerian language and one African language.
Sudha?
Yes.
Yeah, if we can pause. So the voice that we first heard was Rashida. So if you just forward a few seconds, we might.
Yes, I forgot we have the coordinator from that panel here, right? Okay. Is this good?
So my presentation today is going to be a little.
Yes, we can switch.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so from connected to intelligent, AI's role in women's healthcare. So I chose women's healthcare as it's something that affects absolutely all of us. And women not having access to healthcare is a very permanent issue here on the continent. So we developed an AI assistant called Aya, and it's a healthcare assistant that you can call and you can speak to. It's a trusted guide that helps you understand what's happening with your health. It provides accessible care, so it's connected to all the medical centers in Ghana. So let's say I'm calling from Tamale, I can still talk to this one agent, and it can book me in the next available appointment at the closest clinic to me. And it's personal. How many times, let's even be honest, in Ghana, could you call any hospital and speak with a compassionate nurse who would offer support and help? Answer any questions that you have? I don't really think so. You definitely need to, you call them. Even if you call a business in Ghana and they're like, hello, they don't even say, hi, my name is this, I'm from here, just to properly and professionally introduce themselves. So we really eliminated that by developing Aya. And why this is important? Aya is important because women die all the time. 70% of all maternal deaths in the world are in sub-Saharan Africa. We should be absolutely disgusted by this number. We should be ashamed to belong to a society where 70% of all global maternal deaths happen right here in our own backyard. And one in 38 women in sub-Saharan Africa have a risk of death from pregnancy-related causes. And what's even more disturbing is that 60% is preventable with early intervention. But the reason why women are not visiting clinics early to get these solutions or to have early intervention is, distance, stigma. Imagine if you've been sexually assaulted and now you're pregnant and now you have to face that stigma. Most women hide their pregnancy until it's 6-7 months until they can't hide it anymore, which often then leads to complications because at that point, there's not much that can be done. And also lack of information. A lot of these women who live in rural areas face lack of education, lack of access to information. And we wanted to solve that with developing something that was accessible to women. We want to reduce this number because this 70% here is devastating. These are real, we just look at this, but these are real women, real lives, real mothers who are dying, rich and poor, who are dying from giving birth unnecessarily. So that is what we want to do. So AI as a health companion. We're not trying to use AI as well to replace doctors and nurses. That's impossible. But at least allow AI to be that first point of contact for patients who need healthcare assistance. So this healthcare companion allows you to book appointments, answers questions, provides reminders. So let's say you are pregnant and you need reminders that, hey, you need to go for a checkup. You need to go for this checkup. You need to go for this checkup. It keeps you accountable. And the most important thing as well is that it supports local languages. For the sake of today's demo, it will be done in English, but we have the capabilities of being able to do this in Hausa, Yoruba, Tree, Ewe, Ga, and Igbo as well. So even though, Symbia talked about a lot of smaller, less known languages that are becoming extinct, this is still a first step in getting it away from your high resource languages like English, Arabic, French, Spanish, and things like that. So Aya is accessible, intelligent, and culturally aware. So we built this to, again, have multilingual support and also to understand cultural nuances, understand taboos in certain cultures when calling. So to be sensitive around that. And it's a voice-based booking system. So if you have a smartphone, you'll be able to communicate with Aya on an app, on the website or the app directly, or you can also call and speak on WhatsApp. So you can be doing back and forth with a voice note on WhatsApp. And this is really great because 75% of urban women in Africa own a mobile phone. And when I say mobile phone, it actually is a smartphone too. So they have the capabilities of being able to connect with Aya. We didn't just want it to be app-based or web-based. You'll be able to call as well. So this is more than just convenience. It's actually life-saving access. limited antenatal care. So less than 50% of women receive first trimester care. Some women don't even know they're pregnant. Some women have to hide that they're pregnant. And also 1 in 4 African women experience postpartum depression. And Aya's support is, you're doing great, mama, emotional check-ins after birth, is that Aya isn't just it's not just speaking to a robot. Press 1 if you have mental health distress, or press 2 if you're experiencing bleeding. It's a real conversation that you're having with a sentient being, I guess, that can really understand what you're going through, and provide that care for you. Some women can't even complain that they're having postpartum depression or that they're in a lot of domestic violence situations. This provides them with the resources that they need. It's not, like I said, it isn't just for calls. She's truly answering a crisis that is affecting a lot of women. So the tech behind Aya is GPT-based dialogue. So we are using an LLM in the backend, and we're using voice technology with 11 Labs and OpenAI Whisper. And we have custom guardrails for reproductive health. My apologies there. So the model is trained on local healthcare data as well as global standard for women's health, especially around pregnancy. And we have an API integration with WhatsApp and an IVR connectivity, which allows for you to communicate with Aya on multiple different platforms, on WhatsApp, directly on a call, or directly on the website. So it's a very simple stack, but the impact is incredible. So these are some ways that we have built Aya that protects and respects. We don't want to build technology that's supposed to support, but then also exploits people's privacy. So this is consent-based. So all users are going to provide consent to engage with Aya. This information is medically validated, and we make sure that there's an African partnership with this medically validated content. So this is built with women health professionals who are at the helm of developing the data set that is built to communicate. And again, culturally adjusted. We want to make sure that this addresses local norms, taboos, and things that may affect women as well. You know, in some villages, some women cannot leave without maybe a male escort to travel, right? And so it accounts for that as well. So I just want to do the demo for you guys here. So this is a quick demo. I'm going to book an antenatal or a prenatal appointment with Aya. So I think you guys should be able to hear my screen, but I just want to make sure that you can. Expensive. Can you guys hear this? Our distrust is very expensive. Let me play that again if you guys can hear. Our distrust is very expensive. Yes, we did. Fantastic. Okay, so let's call Aya. Hello, welcome to Aya Care. How can I help you today? Hi, I think I'm pregnant and I think I need to see a doctor. Congratulations, madam. I'm really proud of you for reaching out. That takes courage. My name is Aya, and I'll help you book your first checkup and answer any questions. Can I ask your name and how many weeks pregnant you are? Also, is this your first pregnancy? My name is Amaya, and I actually don't know how far along I am. Are you able to help me figure out that date? I am not able to calculate how far along you are, but I can still help you book an appointment. Would you like me to proceed with booking an appointment for you? Also, is this your first pregnancy? Yes, this is my first pregnancy.
Okay, Amaya, I can help you book your first prenatal appointment. We have 3 clinic options. Mamprobi Women's Clinic in Accra.
Okay, I'm going to pause and stop sharing my screen. I wanted to show this for 2 reasons. One is the Africa panel did an amazing job, and we had, and I see Ananya nodding because she was there listening through the whole thing. She was lucky. But I wanted to show a little snippet of that. And Rashida was going to come do a demo. So, it's very easy to look at the presentation and say she's building a voice-based chatbot, and she's doing integration into other systems, and it's very easy to think about this as just technology. And but when you have women actually being the data scientists, being this AI integrators, being the engineers building this, they are thinking about different applications. And I just thought it was so real. The kind of things that we don't talk about. Even if you're sitting in a team meeting and you say, oh, think of the OpenAI team, and they're sitting and building, a chatbot, let's do voice, and they come up with a demo. And then, I don't think they will come up with this demo. This will have more impact, more reach, more, use benefit to people, but I'm sure they will not think of this at all, right? So I just thought 2 aspects. One is having women actually be the leaders to come up with solutions on what they are going to build. They come with useful things that helps other women. Second thing is, when you're looking at different regions and everybody is learning AI, they are thinking about their region, and you can see the anger and determination in Rashida's voice, saying 70% of the women deaths happen in sub-Saharan Africa. That is so shameful. And she's like, while she says that, she's like, I'm going to do my part to stop it. And it goes back to that personal leadership that Alice was talking about, right? So I just think that I wanted to show that as an example of, that a demo. And we will share, all this is back on Business School of AI, where you will see this in our live stream. We will come back and share. And I just need to give LM some time to figure out how to make sense of 10 hours of video and chunk it or get a stuff or repost things that, with the right minutes that you can go watch and stuff like that. But we'll figure that out after this event, if we take a day's break, and then we'll share it more on Business School of AI. So with that, I want to wrap up that segment. We covered language AI, we covered gender AI. That were 2 segments in the morning, other than the Unapologetically You panel. Now I want to bring in the career secret panel and call on Claire. Who are the other people? Are they here? Is Mariam here? Yes. I see Mariam. Is Mariam here? Can I add her to the pin?
Yeah, it looks like we have both Miriams. One is in the Castle Rock room. It looks like she's calling in from an office.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
It was
And we
not
also have Miriam Mohammed.
Yes. And the funny thing is, I have 2 Miriams on this panel, and I brought in Claire to break
I love it.
their takeover of the world with Miriams. And the funny thing is, I was not connected to Mariam Abdul Qadir Mohammed, and so I tried to go find her and clicked on LinkedIn looking by that name, and there is a Mariam Mohammed who's not, the middle name is different, from Australia, who is also another Mariam who works on AI ethics. And she was like, I'm not your speaker. I have a conflict at that time, but I would love to. And it was so funny. I was like, this is like a well-kept secret, the world of Mariams who are like, ruling us from everywhere. So with that, I'm just going to pass it on to Claire and set the stage and tell us what this panel is about. You guys have about half an hour, if that's fine. Yeah? Or
Okay.
is that what we agreed on, or 45 minutes? Yeah?
30 minutes, yeah. And I have a slide deck I want to share, so I
Yes,
just
that's fine.
requested.
And if anybody else has slide deck, I'm just going to make you all co-host. You should be okay. Take it away.
Okay, welcome everyone. Hi, my name is Claire Longo. I'm going to be moderating this amazing panel with 2 Miriams, both amazing women working in data and AI. So just to keep it simple for me, I don't have to try to pronounce too many different names. But yes, so we're going to start with some quick introductions. Each of us are going to go around and share who we are and a little bit about our career journeys as well. And then we want to open it up for Q&A. If you want tips and tricks or have burning questions about how to navigate and get your career started or even advance your already existing career in AI, we're here to address those. If the audience does not have questions, we have a list of topics that we want to cover. So we'll chat among ourselves and ask each other questions, but we want to prioritize the audience. So if you have something that you want to ask us, please speak up. We're going to start with introductions. So I'm going to go ahead and share screen because we have some fun slides put together. Bear with me. I'm more of a Google Hangouts than Zoom, but this is what we want. Okay, excellent. So this is me. I am currently a lead AI researcher and developer advocate at Comet. Comet is a really amazing LLM and AI startup that provides open source and enterprise tooling to build really high quality LLM apps. So if you are tinkering with different tools and trying to put together a really effective LLM app, you need to be able to trace it and debug it and monitor it, making sure it's not doing things we don't want it to do. And so we offer a really great set of tools for that. The career that led me here was through a path of a lot of technical work. So I'll skip to my background there. I have my bachelor's degree in applied math and my master's in statistics. I wish I continued on to my PhD, but I just really wanted to get into industry. So I stopped at the master's degree and jumped right into working. My career path, I've worked at a number of different companies with very different profiles. I've worked in government and consulting. I worked for very large enterprise companies, and now I'm focused on the startup world. So I've seen a lot of different sizes of companies, different phases, and I've learned a lot through that journey. I started my career as an intern in the research world at a national laboratory called Los Alamos National Labs here in New Mexico, where I'm located. And then I moved into consulting, and I recommend this to anybody who's trying to get started in their career, because the great thing about consulting is you see so many different use cases and you can kind of start to decide where you might be most interested in working. Then I moved on to some enterprise stuff. I have worked in a lot of different roles. I've been a data scientist, a statistician. I moved into machine learning engineering because I couldn't really get my models into production when I was a data scientist. I wanted to focus more on building out the engineering tools. Figured out some great stuff there, moved into leadership at Twilio, and also led an engineering team at Opendoor. And then I made my pivot into startups, and I'm so glad I did. I'm never going back. These teams are so fun. You just make amazing friends in the startup world. I worked for Rise AI for 2 years. They're building some amazing stuff. And then I moved on to Comet, where we're building out OPIX. If you want to learn more about that, you can ask me later. But today I'm talking about career tips. So I want to move on to the other folks on the panel and have them introduce themselves. Miriam, you are first up.
Thank you, Claire. That's hard. That's a hard act to follow. So hello, everybody. I'm so excited. I am the head of product for Walmart Business. It is the Walmart's arm that serves all the small businesses. As you know, there's one Walmart within 0.8 miles of every American, but now we understand that there's a needs of small businesses, nonprofits, and everyone else who want to save money, live better, and have a hassle-free buying experience. And that's where I took over this role. Before this, I led the data monetization business for Walmart, which is called Walmart Data Ventures. So that's kind of a little bit of my journey. So as you see, I'm all over the place. But if you see, my journey is really about starting off as an engineer. Yeah, that was a first boring job. Don't want to go there. But really started, thinking about ideas and ideas that led to a startup. Kind of moved to the US just around the time when my startup was picking up. And I had to make a choice between two things I love, is whether I give it a natural death or do I give it to someone who will care for it. And I actually sold off the rights to that. It was a document encryption and authentication software. In today's AI world, that'll be fun. And then, a few gigs down, I joined eBay. Then I went to PayPal. And then I joined Walmart when they were doing the first data cloud migration from on-prem. We all know what that felt like. It does not feel like Claire's stilettos, which look like Louboutin to me, but okay. But I was part of that migration of the largest cloud initiative. And that kind of led me to the interest in data and what it can do. And it was a new world of data monetization that was coming around, which is data product management as a skill set. So I did that for over 3.5 years before I moved to this current role, which was, now that I know enough about the data, I've built the predictive and the prescriptive side of things. What does it mean to now apply that within the e-com world, and specifically to a SaaS-based B2B business? That's a little bit about me and my family. I do have hobbies. I love to hike anytime in the Bay Area. If anybody's up for it, that's what I do. I do have a personal goal, which is I want to do 50 places before I'm 50. I'm on 31. I have not taken a vacation after this job. I do like writing, and I love entertaining and cooking, and I believe food breaks all barriers. It's a little bit about me.
That is amazing. Thank you for the intro. And moving on to Miriam.
Hi, everyone. It's going to be hard to follow Claire Maria. I think my journey has been a bit, no, not a bit, a lot shorter. Because I just finished my undergrad a few years ago. So I've had a few exciting roles. I worked as a data science intern after school, and I also decided to start my master's degree. So currently I'm doing my master's. I think I also had data entry, and also did content moderation for a while. So that's a bit about me and my background. And also I co-founded Africa Hackness with one of my panel members in the presentation this morning, where we are an edtech startup to educate Africans about AI. Yeah, that's about me.
Amazing. Thank you. I love that we have folks of different levels here and also kind of some different roles as well. We've got products, we've got large enterprise represented, we've got students as well as startups. I'm trying to figure out how to stop the share. There we go. And let's move into some questions. My goal with this panel is to really just share with the audience here some tips and tricks to just have an amazing career in AI. So if there's any audience questions, please drop them in the chat and we'll address that. And while we wait for those to come in, we're going to start with a few here. So first question I have for the group is, I would love to hear from both Miriams. You can decide who goes first. Tell me, how did you get into working in AI? What inspired you to really move into this field of data and AI? What was kind of your journey and path into it?
Mariam, you want to go first, or should I?
Oh, you go first. Go
All
ahead.
right. Okay, so mine is a bit, should I say, conventional. In my I did a com science degree, so in my third year, we're doing a class project, and the lecturer suggested that we do Python. So I was more into the coding. I started deep learning Python, learning a lot, and found out that it's mostly used in data science and data analytics. So I started self-learning it, continued on from there. I'm still learning.
That's amazing. Usually people start the other way. They try to get to AI first and then learn Python. I think Python is the way to go. So it's perfect.
Yeah.
So I think my interest really came from, I felt that I'll start with the data itself, right? I feel like data was a prerogative of a few. So you had like data analysts who basically sat on the top of the pedestal, like you're asking them, it's like asking God for some answers. And so when I started to build data products, it was about how do you democratize access to data in the easiest way possible so the lowest common denominator person can now understand and speak that language. Because I feel like that was a gap. And this is way before, everybody is using the word generative AI and everybody's like, this is in the world when you just even curated your data right, you mined your data, you organized it right, and then you have an analyst now run it, come into a meeting and basically spread like these wows and ahas. But that was on demand, right? That was not self-serve. So that was how my interest spiked. And so when they started a business about it, I was like, I'm all in. So I think today, from going to literally a startup within Fortune 1, that was my biggest learning, is really to have 3 pillars. That is, know your data, manage your data, and create value from it. And I go back to the same thing in every job that I now, the current job that I'm in as well.
That's great. So really getting value out of the data and kind of letting the tools choose themselves there is what it sounds like. Awesome. No questions from the audience yet, but please drop them in the chat and I'll keep going through the list we have here. Next question I have for both of you is I'd love to hear your perspective on the different roles in AI today. I've seen these roles develop quite a bit through my career. I remember when I started working as a data scientist, we didn't quite know the difference between a data scientist or a machine learning engineer or even a data engineer, and we were still kind of refining those roles. So that was really interesting time to be part of the industry. But today with this shift towards like Gen AI, what kind of roles are you seeing and how are you seeing those develop?
I think that's a great question, Claire. So, I mean, we are seeing the next revolution right in front of our eyes, right? Like the .com boom, we are seeing the data boom right now. And you will see the evolution of, like, there used to be a data team in every company. Now you have this whole family. So what I'm seeing is also the emergence of data stewardship as a principle and a role, which I haven't seen. Like, you put out a role like that, you don't find people who fill that role easily, which means, do they know the data? Do they know how to use it? Do they know the governance policies, the compliance around that? That is a skill set that I'm seeing evolve on the data compliance and stewardship side. And then I'm seeing a lot of ML ops engineers versus the data engineers, which is not the ETL pipelines. Yes, I know how to bring the raw materials to the consumption tables. You're talking about now people who know how to build scalable stuff and to maintain. So there's the ML engineer, then there's the ops person who basically is like, there's nothing on autopilot. So which means, can you keep this running consistently at 99.9% uptime? And the third one I'm seeing is the ML AI product management space. Like, as I'm evolving, I'm posting roles within my org. It has been like a side dish for most of these careers. It is becoming a main consumption right now. So the ML AI product management as a discipline has started to evolve. So I feel like all 3, if you think of all 4 in a box, that's evolving right now.
Amazing, very helpful. I want to move on to another question here. Relevant for both of you. I'd love to hear, when you're looking for a new role in a company, or looking to apply to a new job, what are you looking for? I know that there's things people look for in the company itself, in the team, in the project you're working on, but I'm just curious from your own perspectives, if you're going out there and job searching, just so folks here can learn, if they're in that position where they're looking for that perfect dream job, what should they be looking for here? And what do you look for?
For me, since I'm early on in my career, what my important in mentorship, I'm looking at, will I grow and thrive in that role, and who can help me get there? So mostly my interviews, I'm asking like, what forms of mentorship are available for starters, for like junior roles, and then also I want to grow technically too. Like, is it challenging? Is the role going to be challenging me? And like, I think those are my 2 important things.
That's perfect. And that resonates. That is what I looked for in my first few roles as well, is just that mentorship. And honestly, that paid off, definitely. Because when you're working with great people who have the time to mentor you, you'll learn a lot faster. The smaller companies like startups, I did not start at a very small startup. I started at a consulting firm with a lot of very senior folks that had a lot of time to mentor me. But the startups, you have to wear many different hats and be in different roles. And I think it would have been very challenging as my first role, but being able to like start at a consulting firm where I had a lot of senior people to learn from and then move into the startups was honestly the perfect path for me. How about other Miriam? What's your thoughts there?
So I think it's shifted over the period of time, right? I've been in the industry for about 20 years now, in big tech and generally so I think where I'm in my life journey, if anybody is looking at that mid-senior, like a senior leadership role, not just before you hit the C staff, I would say really is who you're working for is more important than what you work on, because by then you know what to do with anything, right? You can have garbage thrown at you and you'll create magic out of it. But if you don't have the right sponsorship and allyship, I feel like that I always advise anybody who's early in their career is start to think about who those people are. Who are going to speak about you well in the room while you're there, and who are going to speak about you when you're not in the room.
I love that. I actually had a similar experience once I was in leadership roles. I wasn't looking so much at the product. I was looking at the leadership style of the other leaders around me, because we were going to have to lead together and we had to have a compatible like set of values and leadership style. And that worked really well. I ended up working on some great teams. Cool. We have a question here from the audience. What should you do to keep learning in this fast-moving world of AI and data without losing focus on growing your career? That's a difficult one.
I can go very short on this. So I actually like to learn from people. So as a personal goal, across the industry, like not just around data, I try to meet at least 2 people every month, or a minimum of 1 person that I can understand from their experiences. Because really their experiences are the ways in which you don't repeat the same, or you learn and elevate yourself. So I'm just that kind of a learner, but I know there are many ways to learn.
This is fantastic, because I think it is, people talk about you learn and take courses, or you participate in hackathons or like Hackfest, like Mariam Mohammed has done, which cost you time, right? It feels like you're investing your time, you're planning for it, and it's more structured. But then, like meeting new people, and you will find what just this experience of, even you're saying about how you create value from data and how you figure that out, even that one sentence, there's some learning in there. And so I find that very fascinating to kind of meet interesting people, and from there to figure out, okay, I don't know this thing, she's talking about this approach or this terminology or this opportunity, let me go figure that out. So that's very fascinating. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good question. Other Miriam, is there anything you wanted to add to that one?
I was just gonna say, like, meeting new people too, like going for community meetups, engaging with the community. That's what I do.
I love that. That's what I do as well. I go to community events. There's even like hackathons where you can code hands-on with other people. You learn so much just from meeting other people with different ideas. And I work remote, so I'm very isolated. I need to kind of force myself to go learn from people with different perspectives. Amazing. Another question here. How do you balance your own ethics with company values in the context of AI, especially when you are at the beginning of your career, when your input is less valued? That's an interesting one. I have some ideas here, but I'll throw it over to both Miriams first to answer this.
That's a hard one. It's not just in this context, right? It's around your general, like, what are your core values? And we live in a world where today, I don't even know where my core values stand if I'm thinking about where do I go to work, where do I go to home? But in the beginning of your career, I think there is a place of showing up as being buttoned up and accurate, and really showcasing that you begin to have an influence, but yes, not enough to change the decision, but people begin to remember you. And it actually happened to me once that I was at PayPal. I think we were doing a risk model or something, and the risk model came back being biased against women particularly, because we usually are, we are on the card of another partner or on someone else, and we start our career, like credit journey late. Nothing wrong with the model, but you know what? Like I was working through that, I was like, damn, this is wrong. I did create a crisp presentation. I went to the VP and I basically said, we have to scrap this work. This makes us look real bad. I think, Sudha, you might have been expert. Like, this is the risk scoring model that's used universally, right? And then this unconscious biases will happen because we're using machines in order to inform our decisions. And so I was pretty junior at that time, but going with the data, having a narrative, taking emotions out of it, and I will really double click on that emotions out of it, because I think it really lands the message well when you take that out.
Claire, can I add one thing? I have met Miriam in PayPal when she was an engineer. I thought she was a brilliant engineer with, ability to communicate, what you said about, what Alice had said about the communication skill that you need also as a data scientist, right? But what is fascinating is with women, you tend to hear that they're emotional. And, I find that I'm a very passionate person. You cannot take emotions out of me and there'll be nothing left of me. And so, but I figured out by being too passionate, by showing that emotion, the way I'm being perceived is like I'm too attached to the solution instead of the problem, right? I don't know what I did to get out of that, because I don't think I figured that out. But I just have that question to the panel, right? How do you, if you get so passionate about something and you want to make a case, and then do you consciously say, is data your answer, right? Like Guadalupe made the point that women are not are showcased and acknowledged enough in so many fields. But when she threw the numbers on the stage like that, right, it just kind of hit us. Is data the secret to do that? So you're not kind of said, oh, women, and you're kind of emotional about this. What's your answer for? I want to hear from all of you.
Yeah, I'll take a pass at that one really quickly first, because I've experienced it a few times. It's so interesting because essentially what we really want to do here is be our authentic selves, right? But our authentic self, like me, I get very emotional and very like passionate and like loyal to a project. And so I get emotionally invested in a project, but the reason I'm invested emotionally is because I believe the data has led me there. So I think it's like, if I'm feeling emotional about something, I need to help other people feel those emotions through whatever journey works for them. If it's data, I present data. If it's a personal appeal, then use that. But it's really understanding your audience. And in this industry, it's usually going to be data is what they're going to want to see. So I kind of try to help them see how I got to where I was. But I'm just open and authentic about the fact that I'm very passionate about this. I don't want to kind of like dim that light just to speak to the data. I want to speak to both.
Last year, we had a speaker called Oluwole. And she is like a force. You cannot stop Olu. She just takes up space. And so what you said just now about, you don't want to dim your light. She had a quote. I mean, she mentioned something that I quote her on. I do not want to dim my lights because you cannot take the glare. That is a Olu quote.
Exactly. But if they need to see the data, we got to show the data too. So that's how I've approached it.
That's awesome. Yeah, okay, back to the panel. If you guys want to add to that answer.
Yeah, so about the ethics question, I want to chime in for that one. Yeah, so when I was starting out, I faced a similar situation where the company I was working for as an intern, we were collecting so much data on our customers, their locations, their addresses, their numbers, like a lot of things. And I kind of felt that there was no consent, like there was no process for consent from taking these information from the customers. So I was an intern, so I just asked my team sadly that I had no power then, that do they know what we are using this data for, or do we educate them on what we are doing it for? So that I kind of felt insignificant. Like I just said it, and like nobody was listening to me. But it came in my mind, like all these data we take, that's the first instance, I thought of like ethics and consent in the data we take from our customers. It didn't go anywhere, but it stuck with me personally. So now, now I'm a big data ethics. I'm a champion for consent.
That's actually a very interesting point, because I find that when you're young and they don't listen to you, and if you are passionate about it, you carry that with you. And then if these people are not ready to value you, you're going to go to the next place where you're going to give that value. You're going to make that happen. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
And that's exactly like the other tip I wanted to share here is going to the place where you're valued. And that's really how you make sure that you're balancing the ethics, your own ethics, with the company values. Like, you just got to work for someone with the same ethics in the end. And sometimes it takes a while to realize where they stand and where you stand on things. But like knowing what your own ethics are and then finding the company that believes in that is going to champion it with you is key.
Okay. Do you guys want to wrap up? Do you want to say any last words and wrap up? Yep.
Yeah, I think we're at time here. I would love to hear from both Miriams. Just one last comment you can share with the audience. I would love to hear if you could give your younger self a tip as you get started in your career or in college. Tell me what would be that one thing you could tell your past self?
To me, okay, Mariam, you go first.
No, go for it. Go for it. I want to hear yours.
All right. So to me, it's I tell myself to stop being stuck in a beginner mentality. So anything I was trying to pick up something new, I'd start as a beginner. Then when life got busy and I kind of put it aside, when I came back to it, I still start again as a beginner. So moving on, I realized that like just applying and working on projects actually makes me consolidate my learning more than going back to beginner tutorials.
So I think the one tip I would give my younger self is try to be memorable, not likable. Likable is a very point in time emotion. Memorable basically means that you have left an impact. And I think every opportunity is about that. Especially in a world where we still don't have, I wouldn't use the word equality. We don't have enough equity. And so every space is about that.
That's beautiful.
I love that. Well, thank you all. I think this is really
Thank you.
informative. I definitely learned something from both of you, so I appreciate it. I'll wrap us up. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
So I'm going to remove the pin from the stage. Manon is here. I was talking about how Manon is cloned herself at least 3 times. She was opening in the Euro panel this morning, and then went off and hosted a live event at an IoT meetup for IoTDay in Amsterdam. And then Manon is back here. Manon, I do have the recording from your presentation from Europe from this morning. So with your permission, if you like to take that approach, I would show that, and then you can answer questions. Or if you just want to talk, I will let you do that too. Whatever. It's very late for you. I really appreciate you coming in, so I don't want
No,
to...
I think it's much easier to show the recording and if there are any questions. But is it in the planning now? Because I had a little bit difficulty knowing,
Yes,
understanding
it
the
is.
planning.
No, we had
Yeah?
planned for this time.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah,
And
perfect.
the only caveat is I want to know how much time do you have, because I want to be aware of that, be sensitive to it, given that it is late for you.
No, if we can do the recording and then if there are questions, I'm really happy to answer them.
Yeah. So because the way we are doing is we are running this Zoom continuously for 8 hours. So this will go for another 4.5 hours. I had thought I would pause and get some audience feedback on the overall sessions and what you're seeing, and then show your session. That way I'll switch to the live stream to the second live stream I have to do at 1 o'clock. So that way, if somebody's coming and watching this is not, we are not cutting your session halfway and then bringing your Q&A in the second half. Is that all right? So we can do the audience check-in, and then I will switch live stream.
Yeah, isn't it easier then to show my recording in the other live stream that you're going to start?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what time did you want to start that?
That would be in another 25 minutes.
Okay.
That'll be late for you, right? Do you want to just finish this and we can do that? That's all right too. Because it's
No,
late.
I think it's better when there's more audience. I mean, then I think then other people can also join it. And the audience is taking a break now, so
okay.
Yeah,
so then
let's just
yeah. Okay.
So
then
in 25 minutes.
Yeah, in 25. Let me see this 1 minute. I'll actually show your presentation at 1 o'clock. I'll open the next live stream. We'll continue on. More people will just come in and out. But there are more people who will join again at the live stream, not just at the Zoom. I don't think about the people.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't find the live stream. I didn't understand how that, because I wanted to also comment on LinkedIn, but so there's no live stream from this session. What a pity.
There is. I actually shared that also in my profile. It is all in Business School of India.
Okay, no problem. I'll get back here at
So I'll start showing your video so you can, come a little bit after 1 also. It's okay.
That's okay.
And don't leave. I want your feedback. I want your feedback on what we are seeing for the sessions. Don't leave for at least 5 minutes, and then I will let you go. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm just wondering if there's another link for another live stream.
Yes.
If I have it.
Yes, I'm going to share that here also.
Okay.
And I will put it. Yeah, I'm actually chatting in the live stream for people who are watching there, because I just see the numbers of people there, right? I don't know unless they.
Okay.
So,
perfect. Yeah.
This is the afternoon live stream.
Yeah. So you're sending me the link now that I'll click on in like 20 minutes.
I'm just going to put it here. Live stream. We'll wrap up this live stream at 1 p.m. and continue with our afternoon live stream. So that's what I'm going to say here.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you see it here? Sorry.
Yes.
So for everyone here, I mean, if you want to track the live stream, this is the one, the afternoon live stream. And what I showed earlier is the morning one, I believe. Yeah. Do you see it, Menon?
Yeah. Yeah. Just before you close, let me just open it. It's both on LinkedIn, so I'm not in
you cannot open. It won't open and go live till I turn it on, because this is being streamed there. Then I have to stop the stream and then start the other stream.
Yeah.
Then we have a whole set of topics. Yeah.
Where do I join to be in the live stream?
You just stay here. You just mute yourself. The Zoom is just continuing on. All the speakers are just coming.
Then I didn't. It was a bit confusing. I didn't understand. Okay, I'll keep this Zoom open.
Yeah. So it's the same Zoom that we're just keeping on running, and the different speakers, different panelists, and they just come in and out. And then the actual audience are coming back to watch the live stream, and then we're bringing some questions from there. Yeah. Okay. I just want to ask people about feedback on what you've seen, what you've learned so far. What is your take on it? Where are you? I just want to get feedback, because that will help us kind of plan for the afternoon. Because one of the things we did is we had very specific panels for the regions. They prepped a lot, thanks to Mala and Ananya, and then they kind of ran it like a tight ship, and it was beautiful, right? And then there was discussions around that. For this one, I tried to accommodate the topics in a theme for various time zones. And I have been adapting to people who dropped off, people who had weather difficulty and this and that, right? And there are people like Mariam who are very busy, who could come only at a certain time and things like that. So, and we had the conversations take a different turn, right? I think I'm talking about gender and AI, and I'm expecting a deck, and then it just becomes something beautiful. Guadalupe say something, Alice say something, and picks up. So I just wanted to see what people's feedback are, if I can call on Roxy first, and then we can, anybody can speak up if you, but you will be in the recording. I just have to warn you if you speak up. Roxy, what's your take on where we are so far? We've done the first half of our long 8-hour presentations and live streams of IoT Women. It's usually front loaded because there's an overlap with Africa time and Europe time, a little bit of, US early time also. So I'm just curious, what's your take on this? You've seen it every year. Yeah.
Learning from, every year that we have the number of women that are professional, talented, and leaders, the community just get bigger and bigger, and the content just get rich, much more, a lot richer. And so I actually, behind the scene, when I was even not appear online, I still taking notes so much. Susanna, Raj, and the panel, unapologetically, you, I think many the comment and insight that the panel share is so resonatable to many of us, and I think many of us will watch the live stream again for the information there. What fun is, I can see different personality. Some is more spontaneous, some are more prepared, and I love how Susanna handle the case, right? That how you share the limelight to the women who ready and prepare, and we'll work out later on, because when somebody already put a lot of time and effort into the content, and we have the mic, it's our chance to share the mic with that women, and let them shine. And I love that Denise was so kind and just stay there and let her partner shine there. Danielle, I think I got some of our names wrong. I love Danielle with
Daniel was in the panel.
Danielle, yeah. And the next thing is Danielle, she was so good in telling stories. I love how she actually used LinkedIn in her own authentic way to share her story. It's not a matter of Facebook, but it is professional way to share different view and text in life that help people with their professional life. So I really appreciate that. I love Susanna talking about, our sassiness, bossness, and being ourselves. I really love that. I'm gonna miss so many people names. I mean the content, but I'm just highlighting what I took note with so far. And we not just talk about it, we have data to share, right? Guadalupe Torres.
Yeah, Guadalupe.
Guadalupe
Yeah.
Torres. Research share just like mwah. Nowadays I would explain. The other one, Alice, definitely said I'm engineering leader, so I'm biased. Alice Pinotti, she's the in AI innovation, cybersecurity. Go for it. Keep going your way.
That just connected with you, right? She was,
yeah.
Because you came from FI, and then she said, I work in cybersecurity, and then she's an engineer, and you immediately went like, oh my God, engineer who's in cybersecurity, and she's like, awesome. So that's
Yeah, I was like, I love that, Sudha. Many people would want us to do a certain role, right? Because you're very strong in a certain field. But you can do a lot of things. It's just one thing I always say resonate to me is, if you keep staying in tech, you can switch later. It's harder to switch back to dive deep in some topic. It will be a setback. So I think I always encourage Alice to keep going on the technical and being there and build the soft skill. I think the soft skill word, what many people say, it should be changed to something else. It's the leadership skill, right? It's the umbrella of the leadership skill. Let's see. Mala.
Daniela is watching on the live stream.
Yeah.
I was telling her how you're complimenting her or storytelling?
Claire, of course, I love Claire. She's there since the beginning, supporting everyone. Asked so amazing question. That behind the scene, I'm like, oh, I want to make comment here and there. But the panel that we just heard was excellent. From the experience
Is there
to
one thing? Is there one thing that like was a surprise for you, or would like resonated with you? If you just pick one thing, because there's so many talent and so many topics that come out that we didn't plan for, right? Through the
yeah,
day.
Sudha, you know me, right? When people say I have to pick one thing, I don't have to pick one thing, right? I can love many things, and that how I am. And the thing is, when time make you choose, it's up to you to choose. Sometimes I can say, okay, I love everything. The one that resonates to me the most, that I wish the best to, just because she's reminded me when I was, a junior engineer, she's not junior, but like when I starting out in the engineering career. So Alice, and that keep sharing her message and refine the message, because as you grow and become a leader, you will have more to share and more angle to approach life in so many different ways. You don't have to get to the top of the public company to call yourself successful, because starting a business is so hard, and bringing an idea to life need patience, resilience, and leadership. When nobody believe in you and you bring it to life, that make a whole lot of difference. So engineering or not, idea to life is to all scientists. So I love all. If I don't bring up your name, I'm not apologize. I will bring up your name in the future. So
Because
there's that.
we are going to ask you to wrap up the end of the day. So you're going to have time to remember everybody's name and spelling and pronunciation and perfectly. Ananya.
Give me an assignment. Yes.
Yes.
Back to you, Sudha.
Ananya has her hand up, so I'll let her
Anya.
speak. Yes.
I
Yes.
want to mention that I was very inspired to see a healthcare app for women.
Yeah. I was thinking
Um,
of you when I saw that. Yeah.
yeah, and even the fact that one of the demo questions was uh, asking the bot what how can I estimate my pregnancy, and the bot smartly figured out that's not in the scope, but can I help you schedule the appointment. So this kind of conversational and with the different critical use cases for women, and that too in healthcare, which is the world needs more tools in the healthcare facility. So that was very inspiring. And of course all the other topics were very inspiring as well. But this is close to heart. Tech and healthcare. So yeah.
There's also one more thing, Ananya, when we're talking about career secrets. You're one of those people. I remember when you came to my Stanford class, you're an engineer who wanted to move to product management, and then you're a successful product manager. And then you were talking about, do I want to stay in product management or do I want to go back to be an engineer? And then you kind of, it's almost like a metamorphosis. You cannot go back to your old self. Now you're smartened up in one more track. Now you go back, you're going to contribute differently. So what's your take on that?
Uh, as you said, yeah, we what we learn in our brain, we can't rewind back, right? We just
Unlearning what
yeah,
Yash is working on, right? Teaching AI to unlearn things that it should not have learned in the first place.
yeah, but we just layer on, and then in the day-to-day activities focus on different angles, right? I mean, you've been an engineer, so if we are faced with suddenly looking at an architecture, and the layer that I would have is I still love that because it's a big picture, but I don't mind talking about a component. But this layered learning is now I'm also thinking, what is the business value of this architecture? What am I delivering to the customer or to the stakeholders with this? So we really catch a lot more uh, use cases find risks early. So, and then it's interesting how the world of AI and generative AI has now made so much technology so accessible. So even being, say, I go back to this healthcare app that Rashida talked about, being not a hardcore engineer or a data scientist, not being that, but still having that sense of integration, you can come up with something so useful and impactful. So I guess that's the thing. Like, it's not about the unlearning, it's more about the accumulation of learning and then delivering what's meaningful at that time. I don't know if that answers your question. Yeah.
Yes, it does. I think you were the thing that fascinated in your approach of how you were looking at it is you wanted a very structured methodology on how I would go from this career to the next career. And then you wanted a different methodology. By this time, you're kind of inventing it. You're making things up with your own path. So nobody's going to give you a methodology. You have to make up your own framework. And that's what I saw.
And Sudha, I think that's pretty organic for most of us because, I mean, it is end of the day, the goal is to build the skills, the credibility. Uh, so so yeah, I mean, when I met you in Stanford, it was more like, okay, these are the domains I need to build knowledge on, and then there were projects that I could do, so I could also get hands-on, and yeah. But yeah, even today I'm intrigued about both, so I cannot take away that engineer hat completely. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so what I would like to do now is, unless anybody has anything else to add, I'm going to close out this live stream. We are going to stay on the Zoom. And those of us here who are working with me, if you want to go grab lunch, bring your lunch, that's fine. What we'll do is I'm going to close out this live stream, stay on the Zoom. We are going to have more people come in, join the Zoom on the afternoon schedule. And I'm just going to give you a shout out if you want to watch the afternoon schedule. What it looks like is we are going to have, so we covered the language AI, we covered the unapologetically AI panel and gender AI. That's what our prime theme in the morning was. And then we've wrapped up with this career secrets, which is just opened up. We could go talking about it for a long, long time. So afternoon, what we are going to do is we are going to start with Manon's presentation, Impact Virtualization in Physical Environment. She presented this in the Euro panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out this live stream, open the afternoon live stream. I've added the link right here in the Zoom. I've also added it in the our morning live stream for those of you who are watching there. It will not be alive till I close this and open that, guys. So bear with me, and then that live stream will start. What you need to do is just, switch to that as soon as I say go. I'm moving, and you can watch me here, and then you can switch to that one also. What we do is we're going to start with Manon's presentation, impact virtualization, physical environment. I'm going to show a video of her presentation, fantastic presentation from the Europe panel from Europe morning earlier today or last night for me. And Manon is going to come back and answer your questions. So as you watch it, think of it as a quiz because there's going to be questions, and this is questions that Manon is going to give us answers. Okay, so that's the first segment, 1 to 1:30. And then there is a very important topic. We've been hearing about, how do you improve your career? We have been hearing about data scientists talk about what they are working on, and then about the soft skill combination. If you are in the AI space, it's, how do you manage AI literacy? And we have two speakers coming in talking about AI literacy and skill development. So that'll be from 1:30 to 2. In another 5 minutes, we'll switch to the new live stream, afternoon live stream, and then we'll hear from Manon and ask questions of Manon on an IoT topic, right? Physical environment. She's talking about this IoT. then the AI literacy panel for half an hour, and then the Canada segment. And that's what I was reminding people. This is not a North America panel only. This is the Americas, because we had Guadalupe in here. We are going to have Guadalupe Torres joined us from Mexico, and we have the Canada panel, and Frinzi Clement will be here. Dr. Elham Kederman and Shireen K. They're going to talk about AI research. Some of you, especially my students, have said, okay, I've learned AI now. I want to get into research. What's the latest in research? How do I do that? Frenzy will answer your questions. And that's a longer panel that'll go from 2 to 2:45. And then we will move to Edge AI and Spring AI. How do you go from edge to the cloud? So we are going to go back to the device mode. This is IoT Day. We started with device. We kind of went into different realms of AI. We are going to do AI skill development, AI research, and then we are going to go to Edge AI. And remember Yashashwini's talk about embedded AI, because that was one of the topics that we learned about what is embedded AI. So you will learn about Edge AI, which is different from embedded AI. So that is going to be the afternoon topic. Let me see if I'm missing something. That's the main thing, right? So by the time, I think it'll be like 3:30-ish, and then we will do a audience check-in, and then Roxy will come back to take her quiz on what she's listening about, what is she learning, and help us wrap up for the day. So that's the plan. So now I'm going to stop the live stream here, guys. Thank you everyone who's been on this live stream. Please look at the link I shared on what is the afternoon live stream link. And then the afternoon, you can just come switch to the afternoon live stream with me in 2 minutes. Okay, it's so I'm going to close out here. Thank you everyone who's been super engaged on live stream. Please don't go away. We need you, because the more questions you get from the audience, it's wonderful for us. We love it. Okay, so I will close out this live stream and open the other live stream so you can meet me there. And for those of you who are our speakers joining on the Zoom, there's no change. It's the same Zoom. Even if you get us 2 different emails, it's all the same Zoom. So just come in and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. Bye, everyone. See you on the other.